What is up, RotoGrinders? Talking some MLB Dfs. Still, I believe, 9 days left until we hit the playoffs as far as baseball. The season ends next Wednesday. So by my UCF math, I believe that's 9 days. That sounds about right. Short. Grinding some baseball tonight. 2+ hours. 2+ hours taking you all the way up the lock and beyond. Myself and Blender. We're going to have Dave Potts. CheeseIsGood. We got Chief Mineralogist Kevin Roth jumping in also for Crunch Time. And I believe TastefulTides. The single game, three max specialists will be joining that show as well. But for now, y'all get to myself and Jordan Cooper. Y'all know him as Blenderhead. Myself and Blender. We've had enough of each other. We had our fill. We've already hit our quota. We talked on Sunday for over an hour or so. We do our Twitter Spaces. Well, maybe you haven't had enough of me. I'm not saying I've had enough of you. That wasn't the implication.
Dean. What the reason I'm on this show is because I used my one time to be on this show.
You know what? Let's have that. Let's throw that out to the chat because yesterday we had a little bit of fun. Also, as far as movie stuff, was a 4-game slate with Roth as well. We're going to be more on track, obviously. 12 gamer, so plenty of time, obviously, to knock it out. We got an hour and 20 minutes till we yield to the Crunch Time crew, but of course, we're really focused on this slate. But yeah, one of the conversation points we had in chat, let us know. Do chime in. We like when you interact with us. It keeps the show more interesting. And we do appreciate you grinding it out with us these last 9 days and hanging on. Kindly hit that like button and subscribe and turn on those notifications. Hit all the things, hit all the buttons. We appreciate that. So, chat, I'm sure you're aware. You guys know. People say, my one time I need an Allen Robinson touchdown. Good luck on that. But one time, that you're calling your one time. When you use your one time, and it hits. Is that it? Is that infinitely? Now it's done? Is it one time a season? Is it one time a week? Is it one time a sport per year? What are the one-time rules? That's what I want to know. You tell me in chat. Producer Devin, feel free to chime in if you have a thought.
I take it literally, Dean. It's one time. It's only one.
How many times is one, Dean?
Right, it's one.
It's one forever.
But
one.
I play MLB DFS, and
if you got NHL, 2 of them, it wouldn't be called your one time, Dean. It would be called one of your 2 times.
Well, if you're going to take everything somebody says literally, the world just wouldn't be any fun, right? Like it's just a term we use, but now it's gotten to a point where I feel like it's once per year, and if you want to stretch it out, once per year per sport.
I'll put up a poll in chat.
There you go.
This is ridiculous.
We were having the debate, Devin. Devin, we were having the debate. Come back, Devin. Come get back here.
He's putting up a poll.
We were having the debate on the Twitter Spaces on Sunday. Right. Okay. We'll get past the one-time thing now. If you use your one time and it doesn't happen, like you go, one time I need whatever to win whatever $1 million, and then it doesn't happen. Does it reset? Does it that didn't come through? So you still have your one time. And if that is the case, because Dean called me an idiot I used my one time on Sunday. I used my one time on Sunday to for a 45-38 Falcon Seahawks game because I had a game stack of that game, of course, with nothing else in it. Knowing that if that game went for 80 points, I'd probably win a lot of money. Knowing that we're already in the second half and the game is very unlikely to do so, but since it resets, isn't it plus EV to just constantly use your one times for really far-fetched situations?
I mean, are we talking about no sweat bet things like FanDuel does, our sponsor of Crunch Time? If it's
always got a way to put it into a marketing method.
No sweat one time, is that what we're talking about? Because if that's the case, then it's not one time. Is there a guarantee on a one time? No. If it's a one time, you used it, it's done. So
my issue, if it doesn't count though, it doesn't hit that
time anymore.
If it doesn't hit,
it's not your one time. It didn't happen.
I mean, you used it regardless of results. We can't be results oriented.
Well, you got to be with one time. You actually have to be results oriented. I believe that's the one instance where you can make that exception. My issue with Blender asking for that is the score was 13-13 in the third quarter, whatever it was, and he's asking for his one time for 100 points in that Atlanta game. I just think he's annoying the one time gods. They only have so much time. They hear so many one times. And you're asking for something, it's impossible. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, but Dean, people think you have people out there, Dean, that think they can use their one time every day. So the gods of one time are being annoyed as it is because they don't realize you only get one for your entire, like, so someone has hit their
both
one
those people
time
can be
already,
wrong. You can
and
be
they're getting all
these
one time, like the gods are like, dude, you hit your one time like 4 years ago, and you keep on asking. You actually don't. It's like calling a timeout. It's like Chris Webber in the Michigan game, like calling a timeout that they didn't have, type of thing. That the gods are already being annoyed. At least
the
try
next
one
game
time
they stand timeouts again. They replenish.
Well, here,
let's die in the video game. You replenish. Your life comes back.
Everybody in YouTube, hop in the chat. Give us your answer for your poll here. We'll see which one of these two wins out.
I feel like whoever wrote this poll, it's slanted. How many times do you get one time? One time, obviously. For some reason, more than one. How do I pronounce? Psh? Is that
you nailed it, Dean. It's a very loose. It's flick of the wrist kind of thing.
Joe Hashem apparently used it for the World Series of Poker. Did he win? I don't know if he won the World Series.
I hope so, because it's one time.
Yeah. Well, if finishing a fourth in the World Series is pretty good too. Like, you're still a millionaire, right? I think you're still a millionaire these days. So Derek in chat is saying he uses once a month. Yeah. So yeah,
well,
I think
has it ever worked, Derek?
A menstrual cycle? Do you think the one time is on a menstrual cycle or something? Like every 30 days, here's my one time. It's coming.
Gosh, I don't think you have to ask for that. I think it's just either you're getting it or you're not. I'm pretty sure that's how that works. I'm no scientist though.
So Derek, have you gotten did that one time a month? Has it worked out yet, or have you been using the no sweat one time bonus over and over again?
Rob used this one time to get a second wife. So there you go. Did he use it the first time?
The one time, God, if you're going to use the one time, I want to let people know, since you're watching Grinders Live.
Yeah.
If you do use your one time of the one time gods, use the promo code Grinders.
Here, Derek says it never works when I ask for it. So maybe he's asking for something he's already used.
I think Derek said yesterday that he won one of the contests on DK. I don't know if he had to use the one time or not. He was just kind of coasting.
I did
Probably
hear
wasn't
about
necessary,
that.
But
shout out.
It doesn't matter. Like, jinxes aren't real either. Like the one time gods, I hope everybody's sitting down. They don't exist.
Thank God Derek's not on this one later. He would not be happy with this streaks and one time conversation.
I mean, yeah, an emotional hedge, I suppose, if you want to. It's all nonsense, right, Blender? It's a fun conversation, I guess.
Yeah,
it's nonsense.
Well, B-Shot says he's gonna waste his one time by using it to ask me a 1v1 question.
It has to be a really good 1v1 question.
So he wants to know. He's going to fire it off now. Judge or Acuna for DK cash? That's a great question.
Acuna. Acuna's 200 less and projects for. Yeah, it would be Acuna. Acuna projects for more for cheaper. So yes, according to the bat projections, there you got your one time, Acuna.
But Blender, who's your guy?
Yeah,
oh my God.
What does your gut say? Like, do you have a gut? Do you ever use it?
I have a gut. I just don't use it. I only use it. I did use my gut. Weirdly enough, on last night's Grinders on the Showdown show.
Yeah,
I built 75 lineups, and it was a game theory play. It was for ownership. I played the other type, the Hendershot tight end, instead of Ferguson that everyone else was playing.
Yeah,
and,
I played Ferguson.
And I built one lineup that I like so much that I typically don't play the 222, and I put it in there. I came in 12 for 1,500, but I just went for first for 200,000 with a unique lineup in a 2,500 person contest, even with Barkley as the captain. So if you want to call that gut, it's not really, because if you just locked in Barkley into the captain and Hendershot into the flex, that was the optimal lineup for that combination. So technically, it's not my gut, but I did kind of use this is a very hot plus EV lineup.
No, that wasn't your gut. You were just using math and you were using logic, and nobody could
gut is math.
Those guys out in the lineup. No,
maybe my gut is math.
The opposite of math. No, do you know what the gut is?
No, dude, I eat calculators.
Nothing to do with math.
I eat calculators all day for the protein, and that's what my gut is.
It's the complete opposite of being like an accountant. The gut is like, I know this isn't supposed to happen, but my gut is saying
no, my gut is supposed to happen.
No. How am I explaining this to you? You understand the concept? Like, the Beer Makers fan's got his beer, he's got the beer gut, like call the day or something like that.
Yeah, it's but my gut is filled with numbers.
No, it's not.
It's all numbers.
By the way, the poll is already over. Why is the poll over in 3 minutes? Yeah, Devin's just enough of that. He just ends it after 3 minutes or so. And the winner is, for some reason, more than one. There you go. So Devin You tried to set it up.
I demand a recount. I don't know. I think some tainted results here.
Is that hanging Chad? Is that
somebody's poisoned the pool?
Let's see. Well, I'm reading a question in chat, serious question, but this is about like quarterbacks in NFL, and I can't imagine.
No one wants to play MLB DFS anymore, Dean. There's 9 days left. Come on.
Well, we got an hour, 10 minutes until we hand it off to the Crunch Time crew, and we're here for the. It says on the YouTube, like if you're searching MLB DFS, this is what people want. That's what they're showing up for. And again,
right, just play Robbie Ray. There you go. There, the end of show.
Well, okay. So let's say you're playing on DraftKings. First of all, I'm surprised that you're all in on Robbie Ray. Are you just? Is that just the first thing that popped out in your head?
No. I mean, he's the best projected pitcher. I'm not saying that. Depending on the lineup that you're playing him in, it's not going to be in all my lineups. I'm playing 50 lineups today. Large field GPP.
What contest you playing?
I'm playing the $18 or whatever the hell on draft relay.
25% up top.
Yeah, it's a large field, whatever. I just built 50 because it's a 12-game slate. So I'm like, let me spread it out. I have a ton of. I've a godforsaken amount on PrizePicks and Underdog. So I'm truthfully, I'm rooting more for my props than I am for my lineups today.
Do you have any numbers that haven't expired just yet, or like it's corrected itself?
That haven't expired? I'm not sure. Let me reload the bat projection.
I'm sure you took advantage of some stuff probably late last night, and the numbers.
Yeah. Like German Marquez over 4.5. That was gone in 45 minutes. So like let's see. I'll bring it up. And of course, I'm just comparing to the bat projections. So like I'm gonna reload.
Slide to my DMs when you got these winners, Blender. You gotta let me know. Knock on the door. I'll get
winners. They're not winners. So like for instance, Hunter Green in the bat is 6.55, which is almost a full strikeout at that level. At this like the 7K level, that makes the under 7.5 like a 63% probability. So like. I have a bunch of Hunter Green under 7.5. It actually opened at 6.5 last night. It was 7 this morning, and then people hit the over on 7 enough that now it's at 7.5. So I have a bunch of the less here.
I love him in theory. It's not in the main slate. I'm just recognizing right now he plays against Pittsburgh, and
right. That's a 6:35 game. I also have the Zach Greinke over, which hasn't moved, but I mean, I'm not a big fan of the even number bets as much because you don't get as much equity, especially for a pitcher like Greinke at that level. So this is okay. Greinke over 3. I prefer the over 18.5 points because the bat has him way higher than that. And right now, Greinke's at 20.5. So you don't have the 20.5 is still not that bad, but I got him at 18.
Greinke playing? Did you say who he's playing?
Detroit. Yeah, who strikes out.
Oh, okay. That
that's the reason. I also have Kyle Muller over 4.5. So Kyle Muller in the bat is 5.22. So his projection actually came down. So the 4.5 probably like that's I wouldn't bet that now, right? At 5 because the way the lineup shook out. No, I would not. No, that doesn't pass the 58% test on PrizePicks. So I wouldn't do Muller at 4.5. What else do I got? Carrasco over 5.5 in the bat right now. He's 6.41. So he came down a little bit, but I still think it's plus EV at 5.5. So if Carrasco 5.5 is still up there, it opened at that. So I'm not all that enamored the fact that it didn't move. And then Blake Snell, I got it over 6.5. So 7 is no good anymore. I got Ray over 7. That should be good. I mean, he is 8.54 in the bat, so that's pretty good. Snell 6.83. So his number actually came down. So
that's a wild one. We'll talk about that.
Tyler Anderson over 3 strikeouts is another one. We look in the bat, he's at 4.01. So that's not bad, even though it's an even number. Like, it's okay, right? I prefer that at 2.5 than 3. Because obviously on a 3, if he hits 3, you push. You need a 4 in order to win, and if 4 is his median, like that's not the. If 4 is his mean, it really doesn't take you that much past the 58% mark. So like, there you go. There's the PrizePicks. But I have a ton on Marquez over 4.5. I have a ton on Green under 7.5. Underdog. They had some numbers that were way lower. I think I got Carrasco over 5 there when it opened, and then it quickly shifted to 5.5 like 10 minutes later. You have to really jump on these early. By the time we're talking now, like if they haven't moved by now,
they're not great lines.
They're fairly efficient enough lines anyway. So I'm not like I love the Carrasco over 5.5 last night when he projected for 6.7 in the bat. But now it's obviously the lineup shook out that his projection came down lower, and the fact that it hasn't moved up to 6 shows that, hopefully I get there, like 50-50, 55-45 type of shot. So yeah, so there's the PrizePicks roundup. Basically, I'm telling you, there's not much on the board.
So in chat, they're asking about the Wheeler. Wheeler, good pitcher pitching tonight, but coming back from injury through 58 pitches. How many pitches are you going to throw? And, typically they work up 15 pitches more, right? They're locked into the playoffs, obviously. And I think Cardi does this in the bats. He just adds 15 because he got 73 pitches for Wheeler. Essentially, not enough to play him is the short answer.
Out of 10,000, no.
Yeah, they're asking full price. He's not going to get a full allotment of pitches, so he's unplayable. And there's also, it's not like yesterday where you still could have done it, like theoretically, because there was not a lot of competition. There's a lot of good pitchers throwing baseballs tonight. And as far as like the screenshot of this entire slate, Blender, is weather's not great in a lot of places for hitting. A lot of totals are really low. Is there one team? I think Atlanta might be the only team with a team total above 5.
Houston,
barely above 5.
I think the Braves and the Astros.
5.05, you're correct. Just barely both are over 5. And then we have, I saw some 6.5s. Are those adjusted? 6.5 for Chicago, Minnesota. It's going to be cold there. Ober versus Lynn. Like Bailey Ober has never pitched in a 6.5 total in his life. Maybe in Little League. I don't know. Marlins, Mets, 7. Lopez versus Carrasco, 2 good pitchers, 1 inept offense, 1 positive offense. A few places that are good to hit the baseball, Boston, 9 total. Baltimore, we saw what they can do yesterday. That's a pretty cheap lineup as well too. Good hitting environment, good pitching weather today in Chicago. So we got a 7 total. Wheeler versus Stroman. That's probably why I was asking about Wheeler. And maybe he throws 75 pitches and he's great in 5-ish innings, but I don't see myself doing that. Does not seem necessary. Seattle, Robbie Ray versus Texas, 7.5 total. Point is, this is more of a pitching slate than it is a hitting slate. The 2 teams at over 5 are barely over 5, just barely by a decimal point. And there's a lot of good pitchers, a lot of different good art. We're not going to play Snell. I shouldn't say we, but the field's not going to play Snell. I understand he's facing the Dodgers, and who wants to pick on them? And the Dodgers, you're not really sure what they're going to get in their lineup. They're probably going to sit some of their L's against Snell, but Snell, biggest K rate on the slate by far, like 4 or 5 percentage points. If you were to rank all of them, 32.2% in the season. Robbie Ray at 27.8. Then Wheeler, kind of throw him out. Lynn doesn't walk anybody. He's got a big K rate in Chicago, theoretically. If you tell them that they're out of the playoffs, they might get upset. It's not happening. I'm sorry, White Sox fans. It's not happening. Mathematically, you're still alive, I believe. If we pull up like Fangraphs and 538, the White Sox have less than a 1% chance. Baltimore's got less than a 1% chance. The only team that actually has a chance that's still fighting is Milwaukee. And Philadelphia is not locked in. They have a 76% chance. So if Milwaukee gets in, they would almost definitely be taking Philadelphia's spot. Small chance at San Diego, but unlikely. San Diego basically in as well. But yeah, all that said, Blender, a lot of good pitching, not a lot of great hitting. How are you handling this slate as a screenshot?
Depending, I'm running 300 lineups now through the bat projections using 5-man stacks and setting a max of stacks at 15% just to see what the top ones that come out as. I think I'm more likely. I know it's a 12-game slate, but like there's a lot of pitch. I mean, like the pitching projections are pretty good on the slate, like at all levels. Like Ray is going to be chalky. I think I'm more likely on the slate. It's weird to say, to spend down on pitching and like overpay for stacks. Like just obviously Atlanta and Houston are going to be the popular doing that, but like hope for a Ray or Carrasco game that's like not, or even the Lynn that's like not like a seal, not 30 points. And I think you could eke out enough. I mean, I think Marquez, Berrios, Ober, Muller, Logan Webb, Luis Garcia, I guess, at 8,100. Blake Snell's 99, so maybe not. But I mean, there's enough cheaper pitching that I think a lot of people are going to go up and down. Like it's going to be like the popular combination is going to be Ray and Sandoval, but it'll be Ray and Marquez or Ray and Ober, or obviously if you're paying up twice, maybe like Ray and Carrasco. Yeah, I don't think as many people are going to be building like Muller Ober lineups like average 7K for a pitcher. And then you could just basically don't worry about salary at that point. You're essentially just like, feel free to stack 5K hitters in the lineup and everything. So maybe I'm going to be doing that more than going for some of these cheap value bets that are going to be on the slate that may be a little bit popular. That, these 2K guys. Because, I mean, I look at half these lineups and I go, I don't even know who half these players are.
Well, that's the thing is that, not to cut you off, but you can find guys that make stuff work this time of year. It's very, very easy. It's a plethora. Some of them may not be able to pick out in the lineup, right? But there's a plethora of guys that are going to be 2K-ish on this slate that just sort of like, their call-ups for whatever reason and kind of giving some young guys a look, just guys that haven't played so much the entire season. Various degrees of confidence, but they're going to be out there. The back half of the Atlanta lineup, Arcia, Ozuna, Rosario, all of them are under 2.6K. Just, throwing that out there. One way to be a little bit different as far as your Atlanta stacks. There's some cheap guys on every lineup, basically. Casas,
even Houston, like the Astros, like you still have like Gurriel at 2.8, McCormick at 2K. You got a cheap catcher in there. Mancini's only 3,300. So like you could pretty much make anything work. But I think the Braves and the Astros are the ones that are going to be more likely to go to. But I mean, I don't mind teams like the Mariners, right, against Jesus Tinoco with Tyson, basically a bullpen game. I mean, there's just not going to be many like offenses that I like, and there's more pitchers. So I think I'm more likely in my 50 lineups to really focus on like maybe 5 or 6 stacks and then build like 5 threes of all those teams and then just rotate kind of, 8 different pitchers amongst them. And then hopefully that works out.
Roof is closed in Toronto today, if you're curious. Would it be kind of hilarious if Judges doesn't hit 61? I don't want to.
Well, I mean, he's still 13 away from the record, so doesn't matter.
Well, the American League record.
Oh, so that matters then.
Well, I mean, whatever. People are going to get into the whole thing of like, well, that's not the real record. Whatever. I mean, but
right.
Yeah,
I set you up for the troll job.
I don't want to have that conversation. Right. It's like people just they're set in their ways, and that's that, and not understanding there's a lot of different dynamics that, depending on what era you played in. It doesn't take a lot of deep thought to figure out that there were weird things back in the 30s as well too, and Roof is hitting all homers against plumbers. Yes, and it was all white guys. It was only white guys. We can't just pretend that wasn't a thing. All right. So who was I looking at? Oh yeah, the chat was asking about Webb, and even Beer liked Webb today, and I was excited about Webb too. It was on his price for DK. He was like 7K or so. The problem with Webb is the Giants are going nowhere, right? And they've actively basically come out and said like they're going to suppress his innings. He was pitching spectacularly last time. 5 1/3, just one hit. He was pulled out in the middle of an inning. 5 1/3, 66 pitches. You're not going to get anything better than that. In 66 pitches, 5 1/3, he had 5 strikeouts, throwing a one hitter. And they said that's it because they want to manage his innings and they're not going anywhere. And he's a veteran. I presume he's a part of their future. I don't know if he signed beyond this year, but I imagine he is. He's got a good DK price, and he's got a great matchup. Colorado basically taking the biggest downgrade in all of baseball, going from Coors to San Fran as far as hitting. They're horrific. I don't know what to do with that, though. It's tough. It's kind of built into the price, though. Like I don't know how many pitches he's going to throw, but maybe 65.
Yeah, Dean, for GPP, I'm much more likely to at least take some. I'd rather take a shot on a riskier player that could pitch 100 pitches, 90 to 100. That's why, okay, I'm running a lineup street. I'm getting a ton of Ray, ton of Sandoval. Get a lot of Orioles. Or apparently the bat. Let's see, what does this Orioles lineup look like? I wasn't even going to expect that. Where's the Orioles here?
We didn't get it yesterday until really late for some reason. Did we get it today? Yeah. Okay, it's Mullins, Rushman, Santander, Mountcastle, Henderson, Urias, Odor, Hayes, and Stowers.
Against Michael Walker? I mean, this Red Sox Orioles game looks pretty. I mean, look, both teams have at least over 4 totals. I mean, this is a 9 total game in general. So no, I mean, yeah, the Orioles at Fenway, like I don't mind this. I mean, the bat seems to be in agreement there. But as far as pitchers are concerned, and as lineups in the bat, I mean, it's essentially Ray, Sandoval, and Carrasco, and then you're barely getting anything of anyone else. But of course, I'm not putting any limitation on anything.
Sandoval's a pricing thing more than pricing and matchup more than the skill's fine. Like he's a fine pitcher. 24% strikeouts, few too many walks, almost 10% walks in the season. But he's 6'9" on DK, and he makes for a pretty solid SB2.
But what I was just saying before about Webb, like Webb's 7,200, and if he's going to be limited to like 75 pitches, I'd much rather take a shot on like Jose Berrios against the Yankees, which sounds like why would you want to do that? But he can pitch 100 pitches, and the Yankees can strike out. So like the range of outcomes on that is very wide. But I mean, there are more instances where Berrios puts up 25 points than Webb can efficiently in 5 innings to even qualify for the win. So like I'm much more likely to take shots on Muller, on Marquez, on I don't know what does Cardi have, the Ober's pitch count is 85. Okay,
Minnesota's not pushing their guys, man. Yeah, they don't get a third time around. Essentially, it's tough. I'm trying to pull it up.
That's why the guys at the top, Dean, like Ray and Lynn and Carrasco. And I mean, like Snell, even like guys that Mitch Keller, Pablo Lopez. Like, I want guys
Mitch Keller not in the slate. Mitch Keller's facing Green. I believe.
Okay, no, okay, he's not on the slate, but he's there. He's there. I mean, obviously, it has all the games here.
Try to see what we have. We have Wheeler projected for 73. I just saw Derek post in chat, and this makes sense. Wheeler limited to 75 to 80. Yeah, I mean, if you tell me he's getting 80, I consider it maybe, but it just doesn't seem very necessary.
10.1K, Dean.
Yeah, but he's 10, also, as far as skill, he's a top 3 skill pitcher in the slate, probably third. Well, he's on the board, on the podium, right there. He's kind of right there with Ray and Snell. Maybe in the conversation, right? On the Family Feud board, let's say that there's 5 names on the Family Feud board. Not 3. The
podium's close. No, I don't even think he makes the podium.
But it's not necessary. Like, it's not necessary unless you're trying to make.
No, of course not.
Lance Lamb will throw a lot of baseballs, and Chicago still thinks they're alive. So, and the pitching environment. Oh, I should pull up the Weather Edge. We talk about Ross Weather Edge tool. Several places where it's pretty cool. Scrolling down, I know Minnesota is one of the places that kind of popped for it. 50-game sample, do with that what you will. 20% downgrade in homers in 50 previous games with similar weather. 15.5% downgrade in runs. An increase in ERA. A decrease in ERA at 14.5% as well. A little bit of a crosswind, 53 degrees as far as the weather. Chicago, the Cubbies, crosswind, 11 miles per hour, 53 degrees. A downgrade of 7.8% as far as homers and 65 matchups. Of course, if you guys have RG Premium, you have access to Ross Weather Edge tool, which is certainly useful. 26-game sample. That's not enough to get excited here, right? This is something goofy here, Blender, because
you do San BVP. Diego, 26 games is like 14 times the size of your normal BVPs.
Yeah, it's something goofy going on there, right? I think something goofy going on there. Am I wrong? Should we get excited about that? I don't think so.
It's already in the projections, Dean.
Well, yeah. Well, I guess. Is it already? I guess it's all.
Yeah, Cardi does all the weather stuff in the projections.
All right, fair enough.
Walked right into that one, Dean.
Well, I don't know. I've asked him about there's no narratives are never in the projections. Like if it's somebody's birthday or if it's their bobblehead, he doesn't factor that in. But somehow
it has no predictive power, Dean, because it has no predictive power.
It's my bobblehead today. I'm going to try to hit a home. Yesterday, I didn't want a homer. Today, I feel like because the people want to see the guy with the bobblehead in their hands bang one out. I imagine.
Do you get a free one time on your birthday?
Oh, I don't know. That's a good question.
Wouldn't that be the best birthday gift though? If you used your one time and you open up your envelope, it's like, oh, it's gonna be a card. Like it's like, okay, you open up and it's not a check. It's a new one time.
I'll take a one time. I mean, you can't even put a price. You can't put a price on the value of a one time.
What would it look like? Is it just like a shiny card or something?
Like maybe like
it looks like a Buffalo Wild Wings gift card.
Buffalo Wild Wings. We got it. Yes.
Did either of you ever re-gifted a gift card? Who wants to fess up?
No. I would probably let that thing just expire in a kitchen drawer before I'd re-gift a gift card.
Well, it still has value theoretically. You have a $50 gift card to Buffalo Wild Wings.
Let me rephrase this, Dean. I have let a gift card expire in a kitchen drawer, a cabinet, rather than regift it. It has happened. It's not a hypothetical.
What establishment?
Oh, it's a local place here in Nashville. I forget what it's called, but it's just one of those things. It's when a global pandemic hits, you kind of forget you got gift cards.
Gift cards are the worst. Can I chime in here? I have a very heated gift card take.
What?
Okay. Gift cards are by far the worst gift you could possibly give. Gift cards are de facto the worst. They are the stone nut worst gift. You know why?
But what if I gave a donation to the Human Fund in your name?
That's better. I prefer that. Go give it to George Costanza.
There you go.
No, gift cards. Just give me the goddamn money, right?
Give me 80% of the money, not 100%.
Family show.
I want my birthday present to be a choice. If you're gonna force me, it's like, no, here's $50, but you can only spend it at this one place. Just give me the $50. Just give me the money.
Just if that's the plan is to pigeonhole the money to a place, just go ahead and buy something from that place. Buy me a pasta dish from that restaurant you're going to get me a gift card for, and just give it to me instead.
Well, no, I want you to be able to choose the time you eat that pasta dish, and I want you to be able to choose. Maybe you want the veal parmesan for whatever reason. I don't want to force pasta on you.
I mean, I don't want to have to go to a restaurant.
Mexican food, and why can't I spend my gift card there? No, I have to. Whatever the place with the logo, that's where I have to go. Get me an Amazon gift card, because at least you could spend it on a million different things. Fine, I get that.
Two things. Blender wanting cold hard cash over a gift card was like minus 5,000.
Yes.
Two, comment and chat, just send me the DK crowns. Yes.
Do the conversion rate.
550 crowns is $1. So go send me $50 worth of DK crowns. That's fine.
I had when I was out in Colorado, I had a birthday, right? And a friend of mine was like, called me up, say, happy birthday. Like, what are you doing for anything special? I'm like, not really. No, I'm just kind of hanging out. Well, you got to do something. No, I'm not really doing anything. How about this? He insisted, I'm going to buy you dinner. I'm going to get you a DoorDash gift card or whatever. What a DoorDash, one of those ones. And I'm like, okay, whatever. He insisted. And I'm like, yeah, sure, fine. He sends it over. And it's for $20. And I'm like, dude, have you ever ordered DoorDash? I'm like, so it ended up costing me, like, what do you get a DoorDash for $20? Like, if you're going to insist on it, at least pay the full freight. Yeah. I mean, nice thought. Appreciate the thought, but maybe it's
when it comes to gift cards, I'm pro-choice.
There you go. Well, I mean, the biggest racket is Visa, like the Visa ones, where they charge you like a 3% service fee, and if you don't use it, it like dwindles as well. I believe it's a total racket.
You're making my point. Just go to the ATM and just hand me some money. Don't even put it in a card. I don't care. Actually, don't even hand me money. I'll give you my checking account number and just ACH it in like that. You're giving the best present that way. You're giving me choice. Beautiful.
You guys sound like two old curmudgeons.
It's like the old Mike Myers bit on SNL or something like that. Feeling verklempt. So Moki's asking Blender. This is a good question. Do people actually give Blender gifts? Do you get presents?
My mother-in-law gets. I tell her not to.
Yeah.
Give me
the cash.
My mother-in-law for Christmas get literally. She's the best present giver.
Okay.
By far of anyone that I've ever known. Okay. This is what she gets me every Christmas. Every single Christmas is like a $50 or $100 Amazon gift card.
Sure.
Which I'm fine. Okay. I do that. That's like, okay, that's my toilet paper for a year or whatever, subscribe and save items. Okay. Beautiful. It's whatever I want. And then she also gets me 2 pairs of pajamas.
Oh,
it's the type of thing where it's like, I would never go out of my way. What?
She picks them out for you?
It's whatever. I don't even care what they look like. It's just whatever. It's just pajama pants.
That's a little weird.
I don't go out. No, but it's like those types of things are things that like I'm not going to go out. I don't care what they are. I'm wearing it around the house. And during the winter, it gets cold, and I'm like a lot of times I'm wearing like basketball shorts, and it's like, oh well, I want to wear something longer that's not sweatpants, and it's like, oh, pajama pants. Like I never think about it, but I know that every Christmas it's like I know I have pajamas for the next year, and it's like, okay, It's something that I would have not gotten myself. Because most of the time when people go, oh, I want to get you a gift that you would have never gotten yourself. It's like, do you know me? If I wanted it, I would have gotten it already. So there's no gift there's nothing you could get me unless it's extremely expensive and I can't afford it. That is worth but just give me 20 bucks. Just give it to me. And I don't know what I'm going to spend it on, but I know I'm going to like it. You know, for absolute sure, if you're optimizing for my happiness, you know that there's nothing more happy than just give me money maybe it ends up being Chinese food the next day. It's the best present you could possibly give.
I just think it's so weird. What kind of patterns does she select? Is she
whatever, some plaid pattern? I don't know. Do you want me to pull out some? I could go get my pajamas.
Devin, am I the only one that's just weird that she buys some pajama pants?
No, this is not weird, Dean. I'm actually like, as much of a curmudgeon as Blender has sounded this entire show, I'm 100% behind the get me something comfortable as a gift.
Get me on full screen. Get me on full screen.
Oh, here we go.
Solo layout.
So yeah, here's one of the patterns. Here's some pajamas over here. I got 2 of these.
Is it like a onesie?
I got one the year before, so I got that. Here's another one that's more like black, like kind of black plaid.
Okay.
Right. And here's more of a reddish type of one.
Does she keep
I got like maybe 4
over the years, but she
always gets me like 2 a year.
And how many are in the rotation now? Like at some point you retire.
Well, nothing. It's warm outside. I'm not wearing pajama pants yet.
When it's pajama season, would you retire like the one she got you like 5 years ago, or now you're like?
I don't know. It gets old. Maybe
does
I
it
lose
have a hole in it? Like,
you know who's in charge of the laundry? It's not me. The only reason I know that I'm out of that I don't have a certain piece of clothes anymore is because it's just not in the laundry, and I wonder what happened to that shirt, and it's because my wife threw it away because. Like it has a hole in it, or the print is falling off, or it smells like crap, and I didn't even want to bother putting it in the washing machine. And like that's the only time that I ever know that clothes are missing. So I know maybe I had 12 pairs of pajamas, and I'm down to 4. I don't know how many are in there.
By the way,
but go ahead, Dean.
Tommy John, go to Tommy John. Tell your mother-in-law just get you a gift card to Tommy John. They make pajamas. They make underwear. They make hoodies.
Promo code Grinders. Always remember that.
Yeah, promo code Grinders. I don't know if you get a discount there. Probably don't. But have your mother-in-law go to. You'll thank me. Just direct her indirectly. Just tell her, listen, let's change things up. Enough with the plaid already. Go to Tommy John. Get yourself some Tommy John.
Who am I impressing? No one's seeing my pajamas.
No, it's comfortable. It's crazy comfortable. I'm wearing their shorts right now. It's fabulous.
Well, before we hop back into baseball, I just want to shout out Flying Armbar in chat says I would 1000% listen to a Blender and Dean podcast. So Dean, go ahead and plug your Twitter space, and then we'll get back to baseball.
Oh yeah, we do it on Sunday where we're theoretically, just kind of talking about football. I guess the last hour of the main football slate, 6:15-ish, give or take, depending on how long it takes me to fire it up, and we take you up to the end of the last game. Although, by the way, heads up, Blender, might have to leave a few minutes early this week because I have an NHL draft I have to get to, auction draft. So we might leave a few minutes early.
Fine. I don't mind a shorter show. I'm glad you're participating in an auction league rather than a draft league.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not. I got suckered in. I'm dead money basically, but
it's
NHL. I'm already dead
I don't know
money.
anything about hockey. Draft the foreign players.
Thank you. Yes, I mean that's helpful. Sure.
If there's a Y at the end of the guy's last name, that's a good pick.
A V is useful. A lot of V's are good. But hey, back to the slate, Blender. Again, we still have 40 minutes till we're handing it off to the Crunch Time crew. You got it's no Derek Carty. Late swap out. Late swap in TastefulTides. Tim, who, by the way, I did see you had an article on Scores and Odds. A little bit of synergy. It's a free article. Scores and Odds, of course, a premium product, but there are some free articles over there. I will drop this in chat for the people. If you care about golf, PGA tournament matchup picks, props, and outrights for the Sanderson Farms Championship. That's a contest that's going down at some point. I assume probably Thursday. He's got some picks for you there. Promo code Grinders again. I don't know if that's no. This is free. No promo code necessary. Feel free to check that out. You got Dave Potts, of course, and Chief Meteorologist Kevin Roth. Didn't see anything too crazy as far as weather earlier in the day. I don't think anything's changed. I saw a yellow for Detroit, I believe. Let me give a refresh on that.
I don't think there's anything worthwhile that I don't think there's nothing in the weather report that'll make me differ my lineups or anything.
Yeah, it's been updated. Yellow, green in Cleveland. Is Cleveland on this slate? I don't think so, right? No. Yeah. and everything else is at least green or green yellow, so you should be good to go. Of course, if anything changes, Roth will let y'all know. Hey, Blender, I feel like I want to pick your brain on this one because the highest K rate on the slate is Blake Snell. The highest floor ceiling on this slate is probably Snell. Facing the Dodgers, I'm curious what kind of lineup they roll out.
You have to say it's Robbie Ray. Come on. Against the Rangers?
Well, let's see. What does the math say?
The math says hey, remember, my gut is numbers, so I'm probably right.
Well, I mean, how many times have we seen Ray strike out 12 people, and how many times have we seen Snell strike out 12 people?
That's not how you judge it. That's not math. that you're going by the mode. You're going we're just going to do everything by mode then.
Yeah, you're a mean guy. No, you're a median guy.
I'm more of a mean or median guy than a mode guy. I'm not a la mode. You want to do your lineups a la mode? Feel free to do so. Right, but I'm going to do mine by mean projection. That's perfectly fine.
So Snell had 13 strikeouts last time against the greatest left-handed lineup in all baseball. I know they've been cold, whatever. The Cardinals. If you want to argue that Ray's got a bigger ceiling than Snell, I suppose you can. I think they're both very, very equal. They're both high, is the point. And the main point, really, is that people aren't going to be playing Snell, despite the fact he's got a 5% higher K rate than everybody else on this slate. Let's see what we have as far as actual ownership numbers. 14% current projection for Blake Snell. Again, I understand it's the Dodgers. They're probably going to miss a couple guys in that main lineup. They've been resting some stars. They'll probably rest maybe Muncy. I guess you brought him in there, in theory, left on left.
I think that ownership is right. I mean, 14%. That seems efficient for this slate for a $9,900 Blake Snell. I think that's fine.
How much are you grabbing?
I don't know. I haven't built my lineups yet. Probably not that much. I mean, like I said, I think I'm going to be leaning towards builds that pay up at hitting because it's more variant. It's a 12-game slate, and I think a lot of people are going to play at least one 9K plus pitcher, and I'd rather have different lineups. And I'll overpay for my hitters, and then see what happens rather than like dumpster dive from some of these stacks and just go, okay, maybe the cheap pitchers put up enough. Maybe no pitcher scores more than 22 on this slate. And then what does it matter what the price?
That's not going to happen. Come on, now you're thinking that's an absurdity. Somebody's getting more than 22.
You never know. You don't know.
Well, I don't know, but I know.
Yeah, well, hopefully it's the pitchers I have, right? And then it turns out to be Sandoval and Ober or something. And Robbie Reyes has 18, and Carrasco has 20. I'm not saying that the other pitchers do badly, but just like you as long as you got 40 points out of your pitcher slots, you're fine no matter what price you paid. Now, if Robbie Ray or Blake Snell or one of these guys goes, what?
As long as they get 40 points total, yeah, that's great. Until what if we get a ceiling game out of Snell? What if we get a ceiling game?
That's what I'm saying. What happens if you don't?
Yeah.
These guys are going to be 40% own Robbie Ray on a 12-game slate. We have Cheese coming up next, right?
Yeah.
Robbie Ray rule, baby. Robbie Ray rule.
Is the rule still in play? That was more of like a year or two. I don't know if
it doesn't matter. I'm using it anyway. I'm stuck in the past, Dean. I'm stuck reading Cheese's articles from 5 years ago. The Robbie Ray rule is that you play you fade him when he's chalk and you play him when he's not owned. And if he's going to be the highest owned pitcher on the slate, I've lived through the Robbie Ray experience plenty of times. Sometimes he still gets there with 10 strikeouts, even with the ulcers. And I know he's facing the Rangers, so it's even more likely that he is going to strike out a good 7, 8, 9 batters.
Yeah.
But at 40% ownership on a 12-game slate, I'm perfectly fine. In my 50 lineups, it's not like I'm not going to have any, but I could
flip him and Snell. Like, I don't understand. I'm shocked. I thought for sure you're going to give me like a play Snell's take.
Why can't I play Lynn? Why Lynn is 18% owned at 9,500? What's wrong with that?
He's fine. Like, he's not sexy.
Okay, what's Carrasco? 9,300, 20% owned.
Marlon Stink, good ballpark.
Okay, so
he's fine.
Why are you selling me on Snell? I got to play Snell if I don't play
Because he's the clear, great. He's an amazing pivot, and if he's only 15% owned, and he's pitching against himself half the time, right? Like, it doesn't matter who the hitters are.
Maybe I don't trust himself. Maybe I don't like his other self.
Well, I don't understand. I thought for sure you'd be like, you got to coming over 15% if you're running 15 lineups. If I'm running 50 lineups, I'm coming over. That's it.
No? I don't know. I don't see myself getting that much.
We disagree on this apparently. I see Tim in chat, by the way, and Tim says, what are the chances that I read his article? He said 0%. Yeah, I did not. I'm not a golf guy, man. I'm sure it's spectacular. But I believe in synergy, throwing it out to the world for the people. I want to share it. You put the work in. You did the research. You wrote the article. You got some winners in there, theoretically. But I can't tell you. I don't know who's in. Who are we talking about here in this golf tournament? Do you know anything about golf? You know Andrew Putnam? Who's Andrew Putnam?
Yeah, I think I rostered him like 4 years ago when I played golf DFS.
I don't know who that is. I'm sure he's spectacular. Well, he's not spectacular at golf, 75-1. But he likes him as a real long shot. Not a full unit, 0.25 units. Read the article. But Tim, I'm sorry.
Is there a reason why this Yankees lineup hasn't come out yet?
Are
we waiting on someone coming off the IR or something?
I have the lineup. Why do you think it's not out?
Oh, because it's not updated on my page.
Judge, Rizzo, Torres, Donaldson, Stanton, Cabrera, IKF, Higashioka, and Hicks.
Oh, okay. Now I got it. Okay. Because we got some of the late lineups. I'm happy that we're getting, Mariners just came out. The Dodgers lineup just came out.
Oh, what the Dodgers?
The Dodgers literally just came out. Betts, Turner, anything different? We get Muncy, Taylor, Thompson, Barnes. So Smith is a DH.
Two catchers.
Nothing different than projected.
Muncy's in there, which is interesting. No Bellinger, no Gallo. You would have loved to see Gallo in there, obviously, if you're playing Snell. But most of the regulars are in this game. Still waiting on Sam Fran. Their lineup versus Herman Marquez, 7.5 total in that game. No Angels, no A's. Well, talking about Sandoval, because it's the price and the matchup. He's fine. He's a fine pitcher too.
Yeah, I mean, the A's have a 3.27 total, and Sandoval is a strikeout pitcher. I mean, and he's going to pitch 95 pitches probably. So I mean, just look at the A's line. I mean, look at the A's. Look at the bottom of this A's line. I mean, Kemp, okay. I mean, no power. Sean Murphy, sure. Chad Pinder, the lineup is all like 2K players. Then we start whatever Dermis Garcia is batting 5th. Jordan Diaz, which is a creative player, batting 6th. Shades, Stephen King's son, the Langoliers, is batting 7th. Christian Pash, who was on he has like a 700% strikeout rate. And Nick Allen, I'm not scared of. I mean, come on. Look at the
What was the Stephen King reference you mentioned? Because
the Langoliers.
What's Langoliers?
Story, the Langoliers. They made a movie out of it.
What's the movie called?
The Langoliers.
Never heard of it.
You never heard of the Langoliers?
I don't think so. No, I'm not a huge horror guy. I don't think I know it.
Oh,
it's good.
It's about the plane and time travel. It's okay.
I know about it. I know about the Pet Cemetery. The Shawshank was a Stephen King, like a short story from Stephen King. Shawshank.
I know.
Well,
I'm just like the Langoliers, Dean. Just like the Langoliers.
I thought that was like an indie band, the Langoliers. Are you sure it's a movie?
The reason why you don't know the Langoliers because it wasn't a movie. It was a TV, like 2-part event. Like it wasn't like in the theaters.
Let's see. Muncy is a lefty masher. He is. That's what I'm seeing in chat. I don't think of him as a lefty masher. Is he a lefty masher, Muncy?
There's no such thing as a lefty masher.
If theoretically that was that was actually a plausible
it's not
definition.
Real. It's just lefty mashers go to places where where you use all your one times and right.
I don't think Muncy's a lefty masher. If you date it back to last season, his power is pretty good against lefties, and only 17% strikeouts. Of course, he's been kind of rough this year by his standards. This season the power is down. Actually, not bad left on left, and he's not striking out a ton. 20% left on left, and it's a pretty contact-heavy Dodger lineup for what it's worth. Taylor and Thompson strike out a good bit. Thompson, you love seeing him in there. If you like Snell, 42%, but of course these guys aren't facing the likes of Blake Snell every single time they're out there. Snell, as far as his splits, 32%, almost 33% as far as strikeouts versus righties, 30% versus lefties. So he's actually been striking out more righties this season.
I'm still rooting for Snell, Dean, even if I'm not playing him in DFS. I have his over 6.5 prop.
Yeah,
which isn't very good anymore because the lineup that just came out. I wouldn't take it now if it was up to me, but I mean, I did it last night.
Christine is the best Stephen King movie. Have I seen Christine? What is that?
Christine is not the best Stephen King movie.
It's a take in chat. I don't know. Feel free to fight with Michael. I feel like I may have seen this. No, I haven't seen this. Never mind. Is it good?
No.
Oh, okay. Are you a big Stephen King guy?
I used to be, yeah.
I mean, Shawshank's his best movie. Like we're not going to argue.
I don't consider Shawshank Redemption to be a Stephen King movie. The
Well,
Green
the book
Mile,
is
if anything, would be a Stephen King movie. It's an adaptation. It's not a Stephen King like.
Is he getting paid royalties on that? Then
it's
a
royalty,
Stephen King.
but it's the same thing as the Lawnmower Man. Like if you saw the Lawnmower Man has nothing to do with essentially the movie is like completely not like the book at all. The story at all.
Was
he
like
had to take his name off of it. That's how bad it was.
I haven't seen Green Mile in forever, but I remember liking it. But it's been like 20 years since I've seen that. But is that due for a rewatch? Is that worth rewatching?
What, the Green Mile?
Yeah, I haven't seen it in so long. I saw it in the theaters. The chat's throwing out some Stephen King movies. Dreamcatcher, I've not seen that. Stand By Me, that was Stephen King? Really?
Yeah, Stand By Me is a Stephen King movie, of course.
Didn't know that. Oh. All right. You learn something every single day, I suppose. Wasn't aware. That doesn't fit like his sort of like general, approach, right? Am I wrong in saying that?
Well, neither does Shawshank.
Correct. Which is why that's the reason why you're docking it, which is kind of unfair.
No, I'm docking because it wasn't Stephen King Presents Shawshank Redemption. Like that's all of his movies are like Stephen King's X, and Shawshank Redemption didn't have that tag to it.
He's a big Red Sox fan. Fun fact. Is that Joey Bart sealing a glitch? I've not seen what Joey Bart sealing is, but if it's high, it's probably a glitch. What could it possibly be?
Well, maybe it's the mode. Maybe just like Snell, right? Like, he's hit 117 points by 3 times and whatever.
I've never seen Cujo. I know the reference. I get the reference, the big vicious dog,
right.
But I've never seen the movie. The book, I hear what people enjoyed. I don't know. You ever see Cujo?
I've seen most from the 80s in that era. I've seen most of those movies. Firestarter, right? There's another one. The Dead Zone? That's another one.
Yeah, I don't know a lot of his work. It doesn't really. I've never really been I'm not a big horror guy typically. So I was dragged to Pet Sematary.
Really
I mean, it and Pet Sematary. People think it was a horror author first, right? I
guess so. I mean, I don't think that type of stuff is his best work.
Yeah, Devin, you got to have a Stephen King take. Devin is real learned. He likes to read.
Devin, whenever it's your birthday, when you tell me when it's your birthday, I'm going to get you a Stephen King gift card.
And I'm going to get you some Tommy John
on Stephen King material.
A Tommy John gift card. You can pick out your own pajamas. I'm not going to force like pumpkins on you or whatever.
Well, I guess I know what I'm doing on my birthday. I'm sitting in and I'm watching some Stephen King. What's scarier though, Robbie Ray Chalk or Stephen King?
Oh yeah, Robbie Ray Chalk. I mean, it's not as scary as it used to be, and it's against Texas. This Texas lineup is, not good. There's a couple real life hitters. It's not out just yet, but I presume like Semion's going to be there and Seager. I think Adalis Garcia wasn't he a little bit dinged? I feel like he was dealing with something. I'm making that up. I thought he missed a day for an injury. Maybe he was day to day, but is that one reason why that Texas lineup would not be out? Possibly they're waiting on him. Blender.
I have no idea.
Okay. Dynamite dropping.
Update. I'm trying to run lineups, Dean. I'm trying to run lineups.
Well, we're hosting this. We're doing a show. We're having a conversation.
Well, I need the information.
You got to multi.
I'm still getting a ton of the. I'm still getting a ton of the Astros. So but if you base it on bad projections, the top stack on the slate is the Astros.
I think a lot of people would agree with you.
They're also the highest total on the slate, so that does make sense.
And are you finding the money for Alvarez? You're finding the money for Altuve?
Yeah.
Tucker's pretty cheap on DK, actually, considering.
Well, you throw in like Jazz McCormick at 2K, it makes everything work. Maldonado, a catcher, and then you go. There you go. You're done. You could play Alvarez. You could play Altuve's Pena. I mean, yeah, you could. Dude, you could stack any team on this. I mean, there's enough value in every team's lineup that, like, even the Yankees, like, dude, you could throw in Cabrera. You could throw in Higgs and Hicks. I mean, like, all you have to do is throw one 2K player or a 2K level player, and you could get a 4-man stack of anything practically on the entire slate. Torres is 4,100. Donaldson's 4,300. I mean, nothing is expensive. Like, that's the main reason, Dean, from a contrarian point of view in large field GPPs, that because you could build any stack with like a cheapo 1 or 2 hitters, playing Ray plus Carrasco, playing 2 9K pitchers, even Ray Sandoval, 6,900, Like there's gonna be so many lineups that look like that if I could just avoid having to pay $3K or below for any hitter, means that I'm not going to pay $9K for a pitcher, and then I just like try to get 20 points from each of my pitchers, and then hopefully I get the right expensive stack to go off. So like my lineups may not need to have the 2K crapper in them in order to work out, and I'd rather be different that way. I'd rather be different that way than go off the board like on this slate. Like I feel like I'd rather just I'll play the Astro stack, but I got all of the best hitters in that stack, or I'll take the Braves, but I'll get Acuna, Harris, Riley, Swans. I'll get all the good hitters, and then just find 2K, 3K lower from Ray at pitching, and then hope to win that way. Like I'm much more likely to do that than just like, okay, let's take the Twins against Lance Lynn and see how that works out at a 3.13 run total. Like I'm just less likely to do that on this slate.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you too. I don't know how much Lynn I'm going to get to. I'm fine landing on Lynn, but I don't suspect I'm going to be playing many Twins at a 3-team total. You know, the absence of Buxton, the team's obviously pretty weakened. Sanchez, man, he's so frustrating, but I suppose he's like a good little cheapie as far as catcher. Arias is a hard player in stacks just because, well, just, you know, he will hit a homer on occasion, but typically you need multiple events out of him. Gordon's kind of overachieved this year. I think he's interesting, I suppose, at 2.8K. I like Miranda as a long-term prospect, Urshela not so much, but I don't really want to pick on Lynn. Question in a chat from Robin. Jordan, they want to know if you are still using the only in stacks feature frequently. How often are you using that tonight? How do you feel like?
I use it all the time. Of course, I've not been playing MLB DFS this month, other than the days that I'm on shows. So today,
yeah.
I use the only in stacks feature, the OIS button, which is part of Lineup HQ, and I think it's the only optimizer in the industry that has an OIS feature. So it's great. Cheese loves it also. We both pitched that like 2 years ago when we got it. So you can get Lineup HQ, obviously, if you're a RotoGrinders premium member. Click on that link in the description, right? Sign up.
Who's the most common person you click that button on? Like the only in stack? I guess a lot of catchers, right?
No, not necessarily. No, the OIS button is good for two things that I'll do. I'll use the only in stacks button for very high owned one-offs. So like, there's some cheapie, like if Jared Kelenic is going to be like a one-off and like 16% owned one-off, like I don't mind him in a Mariners stack because then at least I have other Mariners. But as a one-off, I'd rather not have like a Braves lineup with Kelenic as a one-off. Like because that's going to look like other lineups more than not. So like those are the types of hitters that I typically click the OIS button on. And then also like if I'm getting too much of like kind of a non-power guy, like Arias, for instance. Like I'm more likely to not have Arias as a one-off, but have him as in a twin stack, because typically if you have him playing a one-off, like you want that to be the only guy in the entire team that puts up a decent score. Because if the stack goes off, you'd much rather have the 5 guys from the team. So I pick and choose. Like if there's going to be popular one-offs, like if especially these expensive outfielders, like maybe Acuna and Trout and Alvarez, like maybe depending on what I'm running, like I may not do it at first, but if I see what I'm getting, I'm like, these players are sticking together too much. I'll just start hitting those OIS buttons and then rerunning lineups.
FanDuel specific question, and fire off your questions in chat. We're here for the next 20 minutes or so. We're not going to go around the horn. Tim's going to go around the horn with Dave Potts, give their fair play position by position. Whatever you want to ask, slate specific. If you want to say, hey, who's your favorite first baseman, then sure, have that conversation. But I don't subject Blender to going around the horn. He hates it. It's not his favorite thing.
I want to tell people my favorite first baseman, though.
Okay, you know what, Blender? Tell people your favorite first baseman. What are the projections?
My favorite first baseman is Keith Hernandez.
Keith Hernandez? Really? He's great in the booth for the Mets. That one time he fell asleep was pretty hilarious.
Well, he was on Seinfeld.
Yeah, it was a second spitter, right?
Right. And also, I'm from New York, so like I grew up with the Hernandez Mets teams.
Did you watch the 30 for 30, like the one that was produced by Kimmel?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I'm not sure if you're on top
everything, Dean. I watch everything.
Hernandez was great in that. Like it was like 5 or 6 parts or something. It was really good. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
I got a gift card to the ESPN 330s, 30 for 30.
No, 30 for 30. But I know
you to watch all of the episodes.
You don't have to buy the DVDs. You can actually just get like ESPN Plus. It's amazing technology these days.
Do you get what happens? Okay, here's a thing that doesn't make any sense. Getting a gift card for a digital thing. Like, doesn't that like defy the fact of what it is? Why can't you email that to me then?
Wait, say it again. A digital gift card?
Like, let's say, can I give you a gift card for 6 months of a Netflix subscription?
Yeah.
But like, it's a cut. Like the actual gift has more of a matter, atoms, than the actual thing. Like, it's like a gift card for like us. Oh, you go to the Gap or something. Like okay, at least it's a physical thing. You go to a physical store. But it's like, I can't just open up my Netflix app and like hand here. Where's the slot on my TV for this? So shouldn't give cards for digital items only? We should ban them from physical.
No, because I want to get credit for it when I get you something. I want to make sure you know that I got it for you. I want like physical evidence that I purchased something for you for your birthday.
An email, Dean. Just use email.
Yeah, but those things get lost. I hear what you're saying, but I want the actual credit. I want to make sure I want to make sure that you know that I thought of you. And that's a good little reminder.
Yeah, they get an email. They said, just like when DraftKings says you got money or is it you won, you got credited for your winnings.
I love when
I lose like I'll get it on my birthday. I'll get an email from Dean, and Dean will say, I'll even reply back saying that you have been credited with a gift. Thank you.
So FanDuel specific, as far as pitchers. Single entry pitchers. We have in chat specific. Big Hurt wants to know: can you play Muller FanDuel single entry? I think that's a little bit too ambitious. Like again,
I don't think
Snell at 6%.
I don't think you have to spend up on FanDuel. I mean, I'll bring up FanDuel now.
Well, he's 6K there. You just get all the bats with Muller.
Yeah, but the problem is that you run into if you're stacking like 4-4 or 4-3. You'll end up with the same lineups as everyone. I mean,
it's a single entry contest. It's like 100 people. It's we're talking 100 people, 200 people.
Just you're sacrificing too much opportunity cost. You need to get a high scoring pitcher on FanDuel. I'm not saying Muller can't be that guy, but
correct.
Right. So like on FanDuel, Muller does. He projects really good for 6K, but I mean, like if I just plug this in, like for instance, the optimal for FanDuel for the bat. Still has Ray at pitcher, right? And if I lock in Muller, so at 139.88 is the projection for the Ray lineup.
Two real big bats in addition to basically. But go ahead.
Right. Look at you lose 5 points of projection by playing Muller.
In your Ray lineup, is Trout in there?
Well, let me look.
Or somebody is Ohtani in there?
Yeah, Ohtani and Trout and Acuna is in there.
Okay, so we're going like star scrubs, right? Is that what's going on?
Right, yeah, essentially stars and scrubs, right? Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think I'm looking.
And then if you plug in Muller, instead of you still get those guys, but now you're getting Austin Riley, Pena, and Alvarez.
Mullins is 3K. He's a good value over there. If you if Crawford leads off, he's 2.1K. Kelnick is 2.3. I don't necessarily a lot of love for Kelnick, but he is cheap, I suppose, and the matchup is fine. No real matchups are jumping off the page. The Atlanta guys are pretty cheap as well. Somebody was asking about Ozuna in chat. Like, I don't know how Ozuna matches up specifically against the pitcher, and it's going to be a big sample size anyway. But just like, he's cheap and he's a Brave and he's in a good ballpark and he's fine. Like, I wouldn't be worried about the matchup. Either play him or don't. But like,
right.
Apparently he's got 2 home runs versus pitcher, but yeah, I can't imagine it's more like 15 at bats. Asking about Aaron Judge, BVP in his favor. The BVP truthers will be out. Maybe Judge does bang out his 61st homer. 20 official bats versus Jose Barrios. 8 hits, 5 singles, a double, and 2 dongs. Just 2 strikeouts and 2 walks. So, Barrios has not been afraid to attack him. So maybe tonight is the night. The roof is close there in Toronto for what it's worth. And any other questions regarding stacks? By all means, fire them off. Do we think I
got stacks for you, Dean.
Go ahead.
Okay, so running the bat projections with the current lineups now. I mean, I know the A's and the Rangers just came out with lineups. As far as the highest projected 5-man stacks in lineups, of course, a lot of these are chalkier lineups with Ray and Sandoval or Carrasco in it. The top ones that come up the most are the Astros, the Braves, which we talked about. We have the Angels, right, with Ohtani and Trout. We got Seattle, like I mentioned before. I'm more on Seattle on this slate. Baltimore and Boston. Like that Baltimore, that Orioles Red Sox game. Like to me, like that may be the off the board game. I think people will be focused on the Astros and the Braves, and maybe not so much. And then you'll see a lot of Trout and Ohtani, like 3-mans and 1-offs. Maybe not the full stack of the Angels, but I mean the Orioles, the Mariners, and the Red Sox. Like in comparison to their ownership, that looks pretty good. And also the Blue Jays, even against Tyon.
Yeah, they're fine. Like they're good. Like they're not going to be really owned. Is there anything?
And they're expensive, but they're good hitters. I mean, like Springer, Bichette, Guerrero, Kirk, Chapman, Teoscar. I mean, like if you're paying down at pitcher, like you could grab all of these guys.
See, I'm out, by the way. No J-Rod in there. It's Crawford, France, Haniger, Eugenio Suarez. Big number, batting 5th. You got Santana, Kelnick, 7th, Moore, and Frazier. It's pretty cheap. I'll give you that. Does it sound like I'm playing a video game? Can you hear those noises in the background?
Yeah, what are you doing over there? What's your high score on Pac-Man?
No, Pac-Man. You're dating yourself on Pac-Man. Is there a bigger racket in history of rackets than Miss Pac-Man? They made $1 billion off Pac-Man and then say, you know what? How do we sell this again? Oh, I know. We put a bow on this thing, and then we change the banana to a strawberry. Boom, Miss Pac-Man, give me $40.
They did that with Ghostbusters.
What do you mean?
With a movie?
Yeah.
Right? Don't they do that now with the movies?
Well, they made a whole brand new movie.
Just with the it's for women.
They made there was a lot of the SNL cast was in it.
Right. I'm not saying it's a bad movie or anything like that.
Time to make a movie, though.
I want to make $1 billion standpoint. Aren't they doing the same? I mean,
no, because the Pac-Man thing's already built. They're just flipping. They're just throwing a bow on it.
So you're saying that the comparison would be if they literally took the script of the original Ghostbusters and then it was just the same. They just called people Winston and like it didn't matter. It just was female actors. Okay. At least I'll give you that. I'll give you credit for that. You're technically right.
I mean, because then in Ocean's 11, there's so many remakes out there. Everything's been remade.
Right. That's what we need to do. What we need to do. We need to make a movie just with me, and it's Dumb and Dumber, but just with me and you doing it.
Which one is?
Or no, grumpy. No, we would be grumpy old men. Yeah, that's the movie.
You want to hear the world's most annoying sound?
Nothing is as bad though as the. You guys have seen the Avatar being re-released. It's the exact same movie. They're just going right back to theaters with it.
What's smart because it's been like 10 years since that movie was in the theaters.
This is smart, but Ghostbusters.
It's a racket too. Hold on, it's because they spent $1 billion, probably $1 billion making. They got Avatar 2 and Avatar 3, and James Cameron's been working on this thing for years. They got to remind me. I don't remember what happened. I remember there was a blue person. There was a forest. I don't remember what happened in Avatar.
But Miss Pac-Man.
Well, that is a racket. That's a clear racket.
I'm going to get in on this racket next year for MLB. I'm going to get in on this racket. I want to be on GrindersLive for the biggest slates possible.
Yes.
And I'm just gonna tout the same lineup every like literally the same batters regardless of matchup, regardless of nothing, saying that this is. I'm just repackaging it.
I don't like the Avatar thing because it's free money. First of all, it's already been made. It's essentially it's a 2-hour long advertisement to see the movie, the new one when it comes out.
To go spend money on it again.
Yes, yeah, it's a bit. They're not making movies just for fun. They want to make a profit.
Boy. Well, Alan in chat brings up a good question. Arizona mini stack, DK single entry.
DK single entry. I have not really considered Arizona.
I think it'd be interesting. They're not getting a lot of ownership.
We had a pitcher swap there. If you guys didn't notice, McCullers was supposed to pitch, but now it's Luis Garcia. I like the rookie Carroll. The ballpark there is much better for lefty power than it is for righty power. So I prefer he was a righty. Just the Crawford boxes out there in left field. It's kind of goofy, like 310, 315, whatever it is. Christian Walker's fine. What's the mini stack? What are we talking about? Because they're like how many L's? Like 7 L's in this lineup. So it doesn't mean they can't bang it out, down the right field line. It's certainly possible.
No, I don't mind the lefty. I don't really mind.
It's fine.
Like a mini of like with McCarthy or Varsho. Like I wouldn't use all 3 outfielders on a 12-game slate from the Diamondbacks. But I think you could. I think you could put in. You could play Christian Walker. I mean, I'm not opposed to it. I'm probably gonna have 0 Diamondbacks 5-mans.
Yeah,
but it's a little bit. It's from a projection standpoint. As long as you avoid playing just 3 of their outfielders, so you're using up all those spots on the Diamondbacks. I think it's okay. I think
even if it's a Cardinals
man or something.
Cardinals, good ballpark there, locked in for 9 against Adrian Hauser, is one of the weaker pitchers in the slate. I guess that's fair to say. He's
not going to pitch that long, so it doesn't matter that much.
Yeah, okay. However you want to say it. What is he projected as far as his pitch today? We got 90 pitches projected for him. Are you sure he's not? Yeah. Is he stretched out?
Strikeout prop is low. I mean,
well, he's not good.
92. Yeah, you're right. 92. You're right. I just assumed that his strikeout was like 2.5. I'm like, oh, he's only pitching like 70 pitches.
He does have Jim Wolf behind the plate, extreme pitchers umpire, former brother of I guess he's still a brother of former pitcher Jim Wolf for the Phillies many years ago. Small as far as his split, it's just a small split for lefties versus righties. We like the Cardinals versus lefties, obviously, but that doesn't mean that Goldie and Arenado can't take Hauser deep. They're fine. Like I wouldn't discourage it, but it's not my favorite team. But if you're running 50 teams, how much Cardinals are you getting?
Probably nothing.
Oh, all right, fair enough.
Like I said, I mean, you could play a Cardinals lineup. Like I said earlier, in my 50 lineups, my stacks, my batters are going to be fairly condensed. My pitchers, I may have 8-9 different pitchers. So like looking at this, like I see myself having Houston, like all the stacks that come up the most, the Astros, the Orioles, the Angels, the Mariners, the Braves, the Red Sox, maybe some Blue Jays, maybe some Yankees. And then I'm not going to have as much of Ray and as much of Carrasco and the 9K level pitchers. And I'm just like, okay, well, I'm just going to pay up for, it's a Judge, Stanton, Donaldson, like I have those types of lineups. So I'm not going to be getting to these like Arizona vomit stack. Like I'm not paying up for Ray as much.
Still waiting on an Angels lineup, but I assume we're going to get Trout and Ohtani. They're both really well positioned. Caprellian, one of the weaker pitchers, taking the bump tonight. Angels almost a 5 total, one of the bigger totals on the board. Some of the better weather out there today also. Still waiting for Giants as well. I don't know. Do we care about the Giants lineup against?
I never care about it. It doesn't matter what lineup they put out. Half their hitters get picked for anyway.
Yeah, I'm not really on. I mean, Marquez is good enough and the ballpark's tough enough that I'm probably just going to ignore it. But that's kind of where I'm at there. Trying to see if there's anything else of note worth pointing out on this slate. Is there so your favorite off the board stack? Or you're not really doing that. You're playing.
I think the favorite off the board. I mean, it depends on the ownership. I mean, I think the Orioles Red Sox game.
Yeah, and you think recency bias? People will be like, "Well, they scored like 21 runs in that game last night, or something like that." And we're not afraid of Waka and Bradish. That combination is a pretty good ballpark as well to hit baseballs. You liked Carrasco, you said? Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind using Carrasco as the SP1 without Ray.
Robin's talking about the Dodgers. Like, certainly you could play the Dodgers. You can always play the Dodgers, and certainly Snell. Just maybe he can't find the plate, and those things happen. I wonder if these teams are they lined up to play against each other in the playoffs. We're not sure. Maybe that may happen. But
don't look at me.
Yeah.
I just show up and look at the numbers, Dean. Remember, my gut. I eat calculators for lunch. My gut is all numbers.
What does your gut say about the playoff matchups?
I have no idea. I don't even know who's in the playoffs. I don't pay. Does that matter to my DFS lineups?
It kind of, sort of, somewhat, but not really. Not really.
And would it be in the projection?
Well, let me ask you this: if I threw a team your way, would you be able to know definitively if they're in or out? I mean, you would know, right?
I would. The obvious ones, maybe.
Well, let's just play the Guardians. Are the Guardians in or out?
They're out.
They're 100% in.
Oh, they are. Okay.
All right.
So, yeah, see, what does that matter for DFS? It doesn't.
Well, I mean,
the Yankees are in, right? The Yankees are in. The Dodgers are in, right? The Mets are in.
Right? Yes. Yeah. The Mets. Basically, it's all settled. Milwaukee still thinks they have a shot. I think the White Sox still think they have a shot. They kind of not really, but Milwaukee's got a puncher's chance. That's the only one left. Baltimore, not mathematically eliminated, but they're not. It's not happening. In the chat, they're asking about your thoughts specifically as far as Ober. You gonna get the Ober in your 50 lineups?
No, he will be he's in my pitcher pool. Like my pitcher pool I'm going to build lineups after the show. I expect my pitcher pool to be, I don't have ownership up now, but Sandoval, Marquez, Ray, Berrios, Carrasco, Ober, Muller, Lynn, Garcia, Webb. I'll throw in Snell just for Dean. I'll throw in Snell. I don't know.
Don't do me any favors, man. But why would Snell not be in your lineup? That's ridiculous. If you're running 50
I'm still
pitchers,
rooting for Snell. I got his over 6.5. Don't worry.
You have an emotional hedge with PrizePicks.
I already did that already. So why do I have to? Why I have to double down now by having lineups?
It's not doubling down, but he's a guy that theoretically, if I told you amongst those names, we're going to have a draft, right? When we're having a draft. All we care about, we're drafting the best pitcher with the highest DK score on the slate. Okay, that's the draft. That's it. Where does Snell go?
Snell would go 5th.
No, I'm taking him before 5th.
Well, I'm going by the ceiling projections. He's 5th on the list.
He's going 5th? Okay.
Yeah, Ray, Carrasco, Lynn, Sandoval, Snell has the ceiling.
Sandoval, get out of town. Sandoval's
the A's? Have you seen the A's lineup, Dean?
Yes, but get out of town. Ridiculous what you're saying.
They have Langoliers in their lineup, for crying out loud.
You know Langoliers is a movie written by Stephen King?
You've never seen the Langoliers? They're little crunchy guys that eat up time.
I don't know what that is.
You've never seen Bronson Pinchot was in it from Perfect Strangers?
I know Bronson Pinchot from Perfect Strangers, yes.
Right, you got to see the Langoliers.
He's going to be, they're bringing back, is it Beverly Hills Cop they're bringing back? And Bronson Pinchot is available. So he's going to be making he's coming back. There you go.
They bring also on the Surreal Life. How about Miss Beverly Hills Cop? Are they doing that?
Just put a bow on Eddie Murphy, and there you go.
Why not?
But they'd actually have to shoot the movie again.
No, just CGI it in. They could just CGI all the stuff in.
Let's see. They're talking about me mushing Snell now. Snell, Muller with the Cardinals as a stack. Are you okay with that? Snell, Muller, and Cardinals? Sure. And large field? Of course. What's wrong with that?
Large field, that's fine.
I have no issues with that.
I have no issues with that. No,
I can't believe you don't like Snell. It's so weird to me.
It's not. I don't like. It has nothing to do with me. It's the numbers. I'm just looking at numbers, Dean.
Well, every once in a while, use the gut. Is all.
Do you not trust the bat?
Of course I do, but I also understand
then I'm telling you the numbers from the bat.
But I'm sure you know this. The bat loves the Dodgers. It's got a big, huge crush on the Dodgers. You know that, right?
It does. Well, the Dodgers are a very good team, Dean.
Yeah, I mean, as they should, and rightfully so. Cardi always talks about how much he loves the Dodgers, and it's all warranted. But again, Snell, he can be the worst pitcher on this slate. It wouldn't shock me. Well, a little bit. Bottom 5. It wouldn't shock me because things can go awry pretty quickly. He can walk too many people. This Dodger lineup, I presume this one they're rolling out today, is pretty patient. It is. He walks over almost 10% of people on the season, Snell, in this Dodger lineup this season, almost 11% as far as walks, and the strikeouts are 23%, which is actually kind of skewed because of 2 hitters, Taylor and Thompson, who strike out a ton. Freeman strikes out a good bit too, left on left. But look, I'm just saying, I'm making, I think it's 8 lineups I have reserved on DK. I will have at least 1 Snell lineup for you.
I'm going right now to PrizePicks. I'm slamming the under 7 on Snell. You've mushed him too much.
Right? They want to know Hoosiers Hang Banners wants to know what's your favorite calculator. Are you partial to the TI-85?
Oh, TI-85. Oh, that was the upgraded one. I mean, TI-82 was the the one that I didn't have. My parents were middle class only, so I got the TI-82. The 85
couldn't afford the 85.
Those are the rich kids.
Yeah, I don't remember which one was which. But does anybody have a calculator these days? Is that an item that people actually use?
It's a computer, Dean. You could program it in Fortran. Me and my friends would in high school.
You have a phone though, don't you? It's obsolete now.
Yeah, but I'm saying, back then they had the snake game.
I'm saying these days, today, in the year 2022, it's
retro, Dean. People play Atari games. It's retro.
Yeah, they play Miss Pac-Man too, I'm sure. Kindly hit that like button, subscribe, turn on those notifications. We do appreciate, for real, those of you still grinding the games, the baseball games, the last 9 games of the season. Crunch Time Crew is on layaway. They'll be joining us shortly. You got chief meteorologist Kevin Roth. Any weather out there lurking, he'll let you know what's going on. 2-time millionaire winner Dave Potts, as well as a single entry, 3-entry max specialist Tim TastefulTides, who wrote a fabulous, as far as I understand, golf article on Scores and Odds for the people. It's free. Scores and Odds premium product, but that happens to be a free article. I'll drop it in chat for the people. Is your gut saying anybody going to homer tonight? Who's going to home run, Blunder?
Oh, you know me. You know how much I love my gut call. But okay, I'm going to go to I actually do have an X-ray of my stomach. Okay, my gut filled with numbers. It's coming up on the screen right now. This is what my stomach looks like.
Okay,
inside, right?
Hold on, I'm going to pull a Kreskin. Is it Aaron Judge?
Let's say that.
Or maybe
no,
Mike
actually,
Trout?
it's not. It's actually not. I don't think.
Mike Trout, Ohtani?
It's Mike Trout.
Okay.
Trout. Yes.
Wow, that's bold. Seriously, you're really walking the plank on that one.
Well, yeah. Well, it's the highest home run projection in the bat, and that's what I eat.
Oh,
I eat bat projections all day.
So basically, if this doesn't happen, we can act Cardi. We can get mad at him.
Right. He's the one. He's the chef. He's the one that makes my meals.
Let Blender cook. Yeah, better than Russ. Hopefully, what's Russ cooking these days? Good Lord, Denver, what a disaster! They have him like they say they paid Russ $250 million, and they can't pass the ball or a 9-yard pass to win the game. I don't know why I'm getting sidetracked. You mentioned cooking, and I think of Russ Wilson, but yeah, it's so bad. Crunch Time Crew around the corner. Whatever is on the chat's mind. In chat, Rob's saying he made an NFL game on the TI-82, and he was the most popular kid in high school for several weeks. I don't know what a TI-82 is. In the calculator?
So it's a graphing calculator. Dean, we haven't gotten to the most important question of the slate.
Oh, okay. Go for it.
We haven't gotten to it. Which batter are you stacking against your pitcher?
See, this is what you do. Like, you take something I say and you throw it back.
No, Dean, the weird thing is that last week when you did that,
yeah,
you picked Rowdy Tellez, but if you did Colton Wong, who hit 3 home runs off with Hunter Green didn't have a bad score. He wasn't the nut score, but you could have won it. If you had Colton Wong and Hunter Green in your lineup, you probably could have won the
I did have Colton Wong and Hunter Green in my same lineup. So I was using Tellez as an example. I was saying you can do that, or you can play Wong.
So you used.
So I did implement that strategy. Unfortunately, the rest of my lineup stank. It was like a min cash or something.
So playing the pitcher against your batter isn't just like an automatic bink, right?
That was a much smaller slate, and you understand the context of Hunter Green. Dave Potts, CheeseIsGood, had my back. He said, you know what, it wasn't outrageous. It actually made a lot of sense. Understand the context. These are not all robots that act the same exact way, Blender. Some have tendencies. Some have a tendency to give up more home runs than others. Some have a tendency to strike out more than others, and vice versa.
So what Ranger are you playing against Robbie Ray in your lineup?
Let's see. Who would not be distracted by his tight pants? Marcus Semien. Yeah, Marcus Semien. There you go. But I mean, I'm not doing that, for the record. I'm not allowing for that to happen. I'm not playing.
Wait for it to work out. Semien 2 home runs. Ray still has 12 strikeouts. It'll work.
I mean, is there a scenario where it's possible? Yes, but it's also an unnecessary.
You're making my case. You're literally saying what I said.
You're moving goalposts. You're changing the scenario.
You're making my case that I said last week against yourself.
It was like a 4-game slate we were having the conversation.
It was a 9-game slate last week.
You act the same for a 4-gamer as do a 12-gamer?
It was a 9-game slate. It wasn't a 4-game slate. I said if it was a 4-game slate, okay, I can get it.
Cheyenne's calling Pete Alonso. Yeah, we just totally ignored the Mets. Like, we ignored that game offensively across the board. 2 good pitchers. Mets have a good offense. Still, the ballpark stinks, but Alonso, Polar Bear, he doesn't care where he's playing. If he gets a hold of it, it's going to go out. He's smashing for sure. But, Lopez is not somebody I'm actively looking to pick on either. What is he going to be? Like, I'm not even looking, but like 3%. What's Alonso's ownership? Minimal.
I don't have ownership updated, but yeah, I can't. The Mets are barely going to be used. 2%. Yeah.
Jordan's going to be going yard twice, according to John in the chat. Who's your? I was going to ask you. Your Astros are one of your favorite stacks. Your favorite way to execute that stack is how so?
By playing the 5 most expensive batters.
Okay.
What else would it be?
Well, I mean, you don't want to play Maldonado to save some salary?
Well, did you hear what I said earlier? I'm trying to save it pitching because most people are going to try to find a cheap guy in the lineups like the Astros lineup. So I want to be different by having more of the expensive batters.
I heard what you said, but Blender, people they don't have the time to sit here and listen to us yammer for an hour and a half. So I wanted you to reiterate your point. You said it 45 minutes ago, which is so long ago. Like people come in and out throughout the day. They got things to do, So
you gotta rewind it.
Well, they don't have time to rewind.
Be kind, rewind.
That's a joke that you got to be. How old you got to be, Dave, to get that joke?
Dave gets it.
Well, he's old enough.
Of course. But I'm super old. I think that proves the point here.
Yeah, like what jerk would not rewind? Like seriously, it takes like a matter of 30 seconds or so, whatever it was, give or take. Roth, what's up, dude? How are things in your world? Hopefully, you're getting everything lined up as far as I know your old stomping grounds as far as the hurricane. I haven't looked. Ian's lurking, I imagine. It's not turned.
Yeah, it's going to make landfall as a Cat 4, but it's coming in south of Tampa now, so everything's good. But it's I sent like Cam, our old boss, Cam.
Yeah,
I'm like texting where to send his family. There's just a lot of moving parts, but I think everything's going to end up okay.
Yeah. Well, when you say everything's going to be okay, everything's okay for people in Tampa. What about those that are south of Tampa?
Not okay. Things are not going to be okay. Yeah. But
Yeah.
everything's going to be okay in my friends and family, but if you're in Naples, not okay.
Fair enough. Yeah. Blender, you got anything for the boys here?
No, I got nothing.
All right. Well, we're still arguing, Dave, about rostering your pitcher against your catcher. Your pitcher against that's a whole different possibility.
No, we should ask Dave Dean. We should ask him about the one time.
Oh yeah, if anybody knows about it, I would say Dave. He's won $1 million twice, despite never using the one time.
Yeah, I'm still saving it, so I'll let you know when I need
but
it.
see, the fact that he's saving it, that means he admits the fact that you only get one time for your entire life.
He just doesn't need it. He likes a challenge.
Yeah, no, I believe there are definitely no one times. There are 0 times, but if you believe in a one time, it's a one time forever.
Across all sports, across all years.
Yes.
And
One time DFS ever, and I'll give you a one time sports betting as well.
So it's separated just like DraftKings has different
Yes.
apps.
Yeah, and a one time
you have a different
you get a
app.
one time
You get
Rainmakers as well. So you have 3.
One-time Rainmakers.
So as long as I sign up for a lot of sports books, I get a lot more one times.
Well, it's not per book. It's not per book.
Well,
sports
it should be
betting
per book. And remember, if you're going to sign up, use the promo code GRINDERS, $100 deposit max bonus.
Promo code one time.
Promo code one time, $100 deposit max. There you go.
Alex in chat says he wasted his one time on Queen versus Ace King. That's just a coin toss. Why would you waste your time? That's a terrible use of one time if that was real. Right? Isn't that like 53-47? I'm not a poker. You're a poker guy, right?
Yeah, you're close. No, the purpose of a one time is like, dude, like you're all in set over set on the turn for like the World Series of Poker first place or something like that. And it's like you have one out there, right? So it's like you're a 1% or less probability. It's like one time. That's what you're not doing it on coin flips. Come on.
I think you're allowed one time a year per sport.
That's fantastic.
Maybe I'm asking too much. I don't know. Tim, do you have an official take on that?
Have to ask for them, by the way.
Just ask it. They're listening. The one time gods, they're around.
Into the ether. Yeah. They will hear you. And they will grant it. I feel like Tim is the one granting the one times, and we just don't know it. He's just
that is absolutely correct. I am the one time god. That's right.
And what's the official rules?
It's only one time, Dean. You only get to ask one time.
That's why they call it one time.
That's why.
But if it's not granted, I can ask again.
No,
that is Tim telling you did not deserve it.
Right. That's the gods saying no, Dean.
All right. Well, fair enough. I mean, I thought when it's December 25th and I haven't asked for a one time, like I got to burn through this, man. I got 5 days. I'm going to waste it on something useless, but I might as well because it's like cell phone minutes, right? But I guess that's not how it works. Tim has spoken.
They have unlimited now. I just found that out
on the screen. Breaking news. One time actually means one time, Dean.
That's pretty good.
Why you got to be so literal? Not everything is that literal. Hey, we got to go because there's a big boy slate. Not messing around. You got Dave Potts, you got Tim, TastefulTides, and you got Chief Mineralogist Kevin Roth taking you guys home at Crunch Time. Myself and Blender, we do appreciate y'all watching the first portion of Crunch Time. Kindly hit that like button as you ease back and burn all the way up the lock with Chief Mineralogist Kevin Roth. Roth, take it away.
Thanks, Tina. I didn't ever say tasteful tides because I was like, what if it's tasteful titties? I really didn't know. But that's good to know. It's tides.
Now you know.
This is a family show, I thought.
Yeah, happy Tuesday, Roth.
Yeah,
I've always
right.
the thought has always been in the back of my mind somewhere, but that's good. Why is it tasteful tides? If you don't mind me asking.
It's just a store that I used to own. Actually, it was the name of the store that I used to own years and years ago.
What did you sell at Tasteful Tides?
Wine and cheese, actually.
What? That sounds amazing.
Yeah, it was a long time ago, Kevin. Long time ago.
I think we need to bring back Tasteful Tides. Honestly, I think I could use one in Houston. If you're interested, I think there's a market for it.
I am not, for the record. So I am retired from the wine and cheese business. So I'm not going back.
That's a shame. Okay, well, I may open one in your honor if that's okay. But
all right, that's fine. I'll go to your shop, but I'm not running it.
That's fair. That makes sense. Hey, welcome to it, guys. This is indeed crunch time, and yeah, it is indeed sponsored by FanDuel as well. Joined by a couple of the sharpest minds in the biz. One, Mr. Dave Potts, aka CheeseIsGood. Hey, Cheese, how are you?
I'm doing all right. I think originally Cardi was going to be on this show. I felt like, but so anyway, maybe I'm wrong, but anyway, I was going to say I'm using the bat projections for the screen share today in honor of Cardi that I thought would be here, but Tim is actually here. So Tim gets to play the role of telling you to play Herman Marquez today because that's not going to be my role.
Okay. All right. That's fair. Tim, is that going to be your role?
No. And for the record, Cheese is one of the best GPP players in the world, and I'm definitely more of a single entry cash game guy. So definitely, ask your GPP questions to Cheese, and I will definitely do single entry cash game questions.
Sounds perfect.
Excellent. Okay, we can make that happen. Let's see. We got a slate. There's 3 games with potential delays. I don't think any of them get a delay. It's Detroit, it's Cleveland, and it's Pittsburgh. I think they're probably all fine.
Pittsburgh's and Detroit are off the slate. They're the early starts.
Well, that makes that even easier. I don't think it's very likely we get an in-game delay in the one spot, whichever one remains. So let's just pretend weather is not an issue because it likely will not be. And let's talk about this slate. By the way, if you guys haven't signed up for the FanDuel Sportsbook, you should. If you're in a legal sports betting state, take advantage of their awesome bonus offer. It's the no sweat first bet. It's up to $1K. You can't beat it. Best promotion in the biz, if you ask me. Also, make sure you are joining the Scores and Odds. Shout out. Make sure you're on Scores and Odds if you like these guys and everybody else at RotoGrinders, basically bringing their content into sports betting. It's fantastic. So be doing that. Geez, let's talk about the slate.
Yeah, it's really good in that there's a lot of everything. There's basically a lot of good pitching. Play all of it, although there's a lot to play. But it's all good enough that it leaves just a couple of kind of obvious offenses and then a big, huge clump of sure, you can play these offenses, but it's not quite great. So it's kind of a tricky slate, but in a good way.
Okay, very nice. You want to start talking about the pitchers?
Yeah, so on the pitching side, we've got to do the sites completely separately because the DK pricing is kind of way off the board and leads to just completely different thoughts. So let me do the FanDuel on its own, and then we'll kind of shift. Robbie Ray is the ace to pay for. If you have money, you want an ace, I think Ray is the guy. I'm not playing any Blake Snell. You can always play Blake Snell. It's allowed. But against the Dodgers, I don't think it's necessary, and I'm not doing it. I like Lance Lynn as the first pivot off of Ray at the high end, and I'm okay with Carrasco. That's it for my high-end pool on FanDuel. And then we have so Kyle Muller is $6,000 on FanDuel. You can spend all that salary. A lot of days I don't really want a 6K guy because you don't need the salary, but I really want to go Trout, Judge, Alvarez, etc. And you can do that with Muller. So I think Muller and Ray is the bulk of my my pitching pool on FanDuel. So yeah, that's that. And then so shifting to the DK side, The pricing is Patrick Sandoval at 6,900 kind of skews the slate on his own before even bringing in Logan Webb, Bailey Ober, Kyle Muller again, Herman Marquez. Like all these guys are under or like near 7K down towards 6K, which makes it not unnecessary to play Robbie Ray. I'm still playing a fair amount of Ray, but it makes it less exciting. Like I don't have any double ace lineups. I don't have a single lineup with 2 pitchers over 9K, because the 9K pitchers aren't really any better than Sandoval. Is how I see it. Now the Logan Webb salary, I think everyone knows about this by now, but he's on. It's not completely identified, but he's on a pitch count. They don't want him to pitch super long anymore. It sounds like probably 70-ish pitches, 5 innings is what you get out of Webb. He's still in play on DK because he's 7,200, but he's off the board on FanDuel completely. Mm-hmm. And I would rather play Muller and Ober at this point. But really, Sandoval and Ray is the very obvious build, and I think it's pretty good chalk.
Okay, is Sandoval just off on FanDuel because he's what 10K or something? Like what's
he's not off the board. He's 8,900, and like you can absolutely play him there. I would rather get up to Ray or just save the money to Muller, but yeah, Sandoval is in play there, but he's not really a standout because he's only $600 cheaper than Carrasco, and $200 less than Louis Garcia. Like I don't like him better than those guys. I just don't like him worse. And on DK, it's like a $3,000 difference.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Anything else you want to add here? Or random dart throw pitchers or anything of the sort?
No, sir.
Okay. All right. Tim, what do you like here pitcher wise? What are you doing? Both sites, if you don't mind.
Yeah. It's definitely Robbie Ray in cash games. Definitely, the question for me in single entry cash game type builds on DK is SB2. I do agree with Cheese that it's not necessary to get to Carrasco. There are a couple of builds that I like where I get to Ray and Carrasco, but it's just you get more bats by going with Sandoval, and Sandoval's got such a good matchup. So I think you should go Ray Sandoval in your cash game type teams. I'm not really a fan of using Eddie Blake Snell tonight. And the other thing about Snell is, he's got an impossibly, like, the worst matchup possible. And I don't usually take that much weight into this, but he does get an extreme hitters umpire, which Snell's the type of guy where that is going to matter. And I think
I told you, Tim is filling in for Cardi tonight. I like it.
Yeah, normally I don't really look into that stuff, but there are certain pitchers and certain spots where I'm just like, it's not gonna bode well for him at all. The guy that I'm most nervous about, whether it be in tournaments or single entry or large field, is Lance Lynn. Like I think he has a really good leash and he's got a pretty good matchup, and I just think that he might become the forgotten guy today, even though we haven't projected for some ownership on DK, but very, very little on FanDuel. I really like it. I really like Lance Lynn for like a very, very large field tournament, just because his ownership is going to be very small. But there's a lot of pitchers that I would just completely cross off the board. So like from a macro perspective, I would try to keep your pitching pool very, very tight and kind of like spread out at bats.
Okay, very good. Well, let's talk about some.
Let me say we got a question on Zach Wheeler. He's expected also around like 75, maybe 80 pitches, and at 10K, I have no interest personally. Like good pitcher, but he is not going to get stretched out here.
Sure. Okay, great. Let's talk about some of the bats, Tim. What are you zoning in on here?
Yeah, do you want me to go position by position, or
did anyone mention Waka? By the way, I'm sorry, I was kind of catching up on chat there.
I have no interest in Waka. I know that he has pitched well on paper, but I think that I actually have some interest in the Orioles tonight, especially on FanDuel, where they're pretty cheap.
Yeah, the thing about this slate is almost every pitcher is really pretty good. Like we didn't mention Waka, Garcia, Pablo Lopez, Barrios, Michaelis, Stroman, Tyler Anderson, Tyone, like Bradish. All these are good pitchers. We're getting pretty thin already, so I don't have any Waka interest.
Okay, all right. Just got a couple questions. A few people bringing his name up. All right, let's talk about some of the bats. Tim, what do you like in general? Is there a chalk, or is there just a lot of stuff you can pick and choose?
The Astros and the Braves, I believe, are going to be the most popular, followed by, I don't know, maybe Baltimore on FanDuel, on DK. It's definitely going to be Atlanta. It's definitely going to be Houston. I have more, and then of course the Angels. I think that like Trout and Ohtani are going to be pretty popular today because Sandoval's so cheap on DK, you can afford to get up to these really, really high-end pieces. And, I'm not on the Braves tonight. I'm fading the Braves. I have no quantifiable argument to fade them other than, it's just an ownership play, and I prefer getting to Ohtani and Trout. Those are my two premium spends tonight.
Okay, those sound like good spends. Cheese, you want to talk about some of your favorite stacks?
Yeah, I think Atlanta and Houston is it for chalk. Like that's where the ownership goes stack wise. And
is
then
it so chalky that you need to be worried about it, or is there enough out there? Where
no,
you're like, whatever?
I don't think you need to make your decisions based on it. And then I think spend up individual bats are also chalky for the reason Tim mentioned with the salary. So yeah, Trout, Ohtani, like you can get to Judge, you can get to Alvarez. So I think a lot of these expensive one-offs are moderately chalky, but it's not like we have a 30% owned team here.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, what stacks do you like?
So getting a little bit off the board. I like Houston as a full stack, a little ahead of Atlanta. But I'm trying to play some weird late night stuff. Like Seattle looks really good to me. I'm stacking some Giants, some Cardinals against Hauser. And then so both sides of the Orioles Red Sox game, stackable, but like, and so that game and the Yankees Blue Jays game is a game with 4 good offenses and 4 good pitchers. And it's all kind of just like middle of the road. Mm-hmm. Any one of those things, pitcher or hitter, could win, which makes me not love any of it.
But also, it means the ownership is going to
it gets kind of spread out. I think Rutschman and Gunnar Henderson will get some ownership. Judge will get some ownership. I don't think the Blue Jays get any ownership. And then I'm not sure full Boston stacks get a lot of ownership. I think, Devers and Bogarts will get played.
But it's not crazy to stack one of those teams, right?
Not at all, no.
Yeah. Okay. Judge, you going to bomb tonight?
I think this is the night he does it, yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. Okay, let's go position by position here. So, Cheese, lead us off a little catcher talk, if you don't mind. Of course, there's Rutschman.
All right. So, I'm going to talk about more spend-ups than usual because, like I said, I'm not doing double aces, and I'm playing a lot of Moeller on FanDuel. So you can do whatever you want. I'll try to point out some values where they exist, but give me Rutschman, obviously. I do like Will Smith. I think you can play Dodgers as a stack or one of these individual righties. So Smith and Rutschman are the two standouts. Cal Raleigh interests me a little bit.
Excuse me, who's Cal Raleigh?
Yeah. Why don't you tell the people who Cal Raleigh is?
You mean the big dumper.
That's the one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, play that guy. Yeah.
The other team that I forgot to mention, Arizona. Garcia pretty much always gives up a couple homers. Maybe not always, but tonight he will. And like Carson Kelly as a punt will be completely unowned. I think most people will play Higashioka or Maldonado as that super cheap punt. And if Matt Thace is in the lineup, I like him okay.
Okay, excellent. Tim, favorite catchers? Anything to add?
Yeah, so I'm playing one lineup on each site tonight, and on DK I have the big dumper as my catcher. So I am all for.
Congrats on the win.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, I don't have that much to add really for catchers. I think that a lot of times, you want to find like a punt catcher. I don't think tonight's the night. I think there's guys that you can pay up for, and there's not a lot of cheap punts unless you want to do like Max Stassi. I don't think that Angels lineup is out yet, but if he's in the lineup, you could go with him. I'm trying to find other punts, maybe Maldonado, but I kind of prefer staying in that mid range or paying all the way up at catcher.
Sure, makes sense. All right, give me first base, Tim.
Yep. So Ryan Mountcastle on FanDuel is my favorite first baseman play. Obviously, Michael Wacha is traditionally a reverse splits pitcher. So I think that Mountcastle's price is way too cheap. I'm not sure if Tellez is going to garner much ownership tonight, but he's also a very, very cheap spend on FanDuel. If you want to go up, you can always, Matt Olson, on both sites is very, very, a very good price on both sites. So if you want to go Braves, Matt Olson is completely fine. I prefer going down a little bit to Mountcastle. I think a different way to build your team in like tournaments today is to play Ohtani at first base and then pay down at the outfield. I think that's just a different way of doing a roster construction because there are so many powerful outfielders today. I think a lot of people are going to be spending up at outfield, and that will just naturally lead you to a different construction.
Yeah, interesting. And every outfielder that I've heard is, the big price, big name guys. So that does make sense. Cheese, take me. What do you like at first?
Mostly the same names. On FanDuel, you don't really need to spend up with Olsen at 33 and then Mountcastle and Tellez, like you mentioned. They're cheap. I do like Rizzo and Goldschmidt quite a bit. And like if I have money, that's where I'm going to go. Agree on the Ohtani thing on DK. And I kind of mentioned it with the stacks. I just don't think like this will be like the lowest you ever see the Blue Jays and a guy like Vlad. So I certainly don't mind it. But I prefer doing that with Goldschmidt as the different guy personally.
Very good. Second base, please, Cheese.
So this is your weak spot today, as it is most days. Altuve is the best play. Kind of an unnecessary spend, but again, there's so many ways you can have money. And the cheap nonsense is nonsense. Like it's very bad. I think on FanDuel, Louis Rengifo is chalk, which that right there tells you about the position. I mean, he's actually okay, but when he's chalk, you know it's a bad position. I like Brendan Donovan a little better. And then on the DK side, Kiki Hernandez at 31 is a cheap play you can use. Urias for Baltimore, again, with that, like Tim said at first, long-term walk is reverse splits. I'm spreading out at second a long ways because I don't like anything other than Altuve, and I don't feel like I have to spend up on him.
Okay, Tim, anything you like at second?
I agree. Like what Cheese said about Altuve is not a necessary spend at second. I am playing him on FanDuel just because I didn't really want to punt with anybody else. So I was like, I'm just going to take the best option, and that is Altuve. Now, it is not the best spot, and he is expensive. So if you want to go somewhere else, I don't think there's any issue with that. Rengifo is definitely very, very cheap on FanDuel. For me, he's not in the cards on DK. 4,400 on DK is too expensive. I also think that some of these cheap Mariners are in a really good spot. So a guy like Dylan Moore, I think, is going to be very, very low owned, batting eighth. And I really like the Mariners stack as a whole. So I think that he makes a good play for tournaments.
Very good. Third base, Tim.
Yeah, so I always think that paying up at third is kind of like a very, very optimal strategy. There are very few punts that I would be comfortable with. Rafael Devers is probably the best play, but I also really like Austin Riley quite a bit. Like I know that I'm not on the Braves as a whole, but I honestly think that like Riley is kind of carrying that team and he's kind of like he's just he would be like my favorite one-off. Like if I had to play an Atlanta bat, that would be great. Gunnar Henderson, he's probably a better shortstop play, but I think that I just really like this Baltimore team, so I think that I think he makes for a good play. And then of course Alex Bregman. Oh, and Ty France is also third base eligible now on DK, and he's who I currently have because I'm stacking some of the cheap Seattle bats, so I like Ty France quite a bit.
Very good. Cheese. 2 parlay français.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Devers and Riley are the chalk and good chalk. And I think Tim and I are on the same page that I think you can play Riley and or Olsen without stacking the Braves. Manny Machado, there's so many great players that no one's playing because of the size of the slate. Machado and Arenado are the two at third base. I think you spend up. You're different than Devers and Riley with the same upside, obviously. And yeah, don't punt at third unless you totally have to. And if you totally have to, I'm playing Jason Vossler because he's going to hit a home run, and that's why. But he's not going to hit 2 like the spend ups.
Okay. Shortstop.
Not quite as bad as second base, but like the top players are in less than ideal matchups. I do like Trey Turner against Snell. He's like the guy that doesn't strike out against Snell. Gunnar Henderson should be the chalk with the discount. Jeremy Pena is okay. And then these guys who are priced up like Swanson, Bogarts, Bichette, Adames, Lindor, like it's all fine. But none of them have the same sort of one-off, I got to have that guy as we see in the outfield and at third. So I'm more or less leaving these guys for stacks and really playing more Henderson than any of them for salary reasons.
Okay. Tim, shortstop.
Yeah, I just I'm playing JP Crawford today. I think he's 2,100. He's 100 off the minimum on FanDuel, and he's 3K on DK. I'm not in love with any of these like super high end shortstops today. So I decided that I was gonna punt it. I'm fine with going up to Turner if you have the money, obviously. Jeremy Pena is interesting to me at 3,100 on FanDuel and 4,200 on DK. And then I think if you don't want to go all the way down to Crawford, I think you should play Henderson at short in cash games.
Okay. Then you get to take us to the outfield. What do you love?
My favorite is Mike Trout. I know that that's not a hot take. I know that a lot of people are going to be on him tonight, but I am playing Mike Trout. I'm just astonished at how good his numbers are and with all the games that he's missed. Like it's truly amazing to me.
Yeah.
Obviously Ohtani, obviously there's Alvarez. All these guys are in tremendous spots today. Like obviously there's Aaron Judge, right? I mean, it's one thing I will say is that I think Kyle Tucker is too cheap on DK. So if you find yourself in that position in the outfield where you don't have the money to get to the high 5s or low 6s, Kyle Tucker is your guy on DK. I think he's just too cheap. So Cedric Mullins on FanDuel is 3K. I think that he's another guy who's a little bit too cheap. I'm trying to find some lower. Mitch Haniger, Lars Nootbaar, they're both 2,700 on FanDuel. I think that they're pretty good punts. But outfield is real. Oh, and Jared Kelenic for Seattle. He's my favorite like punt play.
Okay, very good. Cheese, your favorite outfielders.
So the good thing about all these spend ups is they have to split up the ownership. Like it's not everyone's on one of these guys.
That's true. Yeah.
I would go Trout, Alvarez, Tucker, Ohtani, Judge. But
it's all a coin flip kind of.
Yeah, and then Acuna bets like it's awesome.
Yeah.
Most of the cheap guys I like. Tim mentioned there. Definitely Mullins on FanDuel and Kelnick on DK, I think, are the chalky-ish ones. I Newt Bar on DK, especially. Like the mid-tier will be kind of forgotten. And the other cheap guys that I want to mention are Arizona, Corbin Carroll in particular on DK at 2,800. And then the Giants, Jock Peterson on FanDuel is really cheap, and Yaz is really cheap on DK.
Okay, very good. Let's take some QQs. We got about 10 minutes until lock. Cheese, I want one stack to win it all. It can be, what was it, Atlanta, and who was the other chalky one?
Houston.
It can be Atlanta, Houston if you want, or you can go off the board.
I'll go off the board with St. Louis.
Okay, very good. Tim, one stack to win it all. We'll say like single entry GPP.
Seattle.
Very good. Okay, guys, let's dive into the questions here. I'm pulling up the RotoGrinders Discord. If you're not a member, you should be. It's where all the cool kids are hanging out. We'll go to Sherman's Tanks, FanDuel Cash. Tim, you like Newt Bar Donovan or Santander and Jock Peterson? Or rather, Santander, I think is accurate there.
I think the first one.
Very good. DK Cash, can I just alternate these between you two?
Sure.
Yeah, all right, cool. DK Cash, Achilles says, hey, Cheese, Odor McCormick or punt with Jonah Bride and Kellenich?
So I will tell you quite honestly, there's not a chance in the world that I would be down to those options. But if that's what you're down to, I would go Odor McCormick.
Okay, very good. FanDuel GPP one-off question here from Michael. Tim, you like Mike, Yastrzemski, Jock, or Sean Murphy?
Yes.
Yes, very good. All right. Home run calls from What's a Matter 18. Tim, you got a home run call for me?
I'm gonna go with Jared Kelenic.
Very good. Cheese?
Paul Goldschmidt.
Okay. I'm going to go with Judge. It's kind of cheating, but I think he hits one. So
Judge, Goldschmidt, and Kelnick. I feel like we all just took the easy road.
Yeah.
You're going to go with Judge and Ohtani, aren't you, Kevin?
Yes, exactly. If I can take both of those, please.
Yeah.
Like the only two MLB players I like. All right, Beaner, FanDuel GPP. Brandish or Sandoval? Also, I left out who's the guy that I like, Cheese, for Seattle?
Suarez.
Yeah. What's his full name?
Eugenio
Suarez.
And today is actually his first day coming off the IL, so he's got time to make up for.
Probably going to hit a home run. Okay, Tim, let's see. Brandish or Sandoval in a FanDuel GPP?
It's Sandoval. I mean, he's going to be the higher owned guy, but I would not play Bradish in a GPP or anywhere, really.
Very good. Okay, Jay says, Cheese, DK's single entry. What's the value one-off play of the day in DK's single entry, regardless of position? So your favorite cheap
the chalky-ish one is Kelnick.
Mm-hmm.
And really, I would say that's the one. Like, you don't worry about ownership.
Very good. All right. NBA DFS says FanDuel Cash in the util. Tim, you want my boy Rutschman, Fam, or Parlez-vous Français France?
I'm going to go with France.
Very good. FanDuel Cash 3v3 for you, Cheese. We got emojis and all kinds of things happening here. You want Altuve, Mullins, Mountcastle, or Rengifo, Trout, Newbar?
I will answer that question, but I want to say I think Aside goes out of his way to make sure Mountcastle is in one of his questions every day.
It's definitely the best because he uses emoji mountain, emoji castle, and it's really it's a really good one.
I like that side of it. Altuve, Mullins, Mountcastle. Very
good. All right, Tom, DK Cash, best catcher at 2,600. So we discussed that you guys are not too interested in punting catcher, but Tim, you did have some cheaper options. I think that you brought up. So 2,600 Cash.
It's too bad he doesn't have the 100 for Stassi because he would probably be the guy.
Stassi's not in there tonight. That lineup just came out.
So is it Suzuki?
No, it's Matt Thace is playing catcher.
Oh,
yeah, they've moved him. They've started doing that a couple of times, which is I don't know how it's good for the defense, but yeah. So neither of them.
Yeah, Yeah, so I guess it's Shea Langoliers, but I don't love it. There's really no Sam Huff. You can't do that in cash. I guess maybe it's Connor Wong.
Wong.
I think my answer is Connor Wong.
Okay, very good. All right. Not very good, but good on you to figure that out. But you don't love that play by any means. Right?
Nope, I don't like that construction. So take that for what it's worth.
Okay, very good. F Primos, but like if you're punting catcher, and the guy just gets a single, are you all right? That's fine, or is that not enough? You need more.
I mean, that's kind of a tough question to answer.
On a slate like this, the chances of like Smith or Rutschman or Contreras or someone hitting a home run are pretty high. So I don't love the saying I get a single from my catcher.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I just think opportunity cost is pretty big at catcher today. So
I would rather do that at second base, where it's pretty much just Altuve that you have to fade.
Every single one of those punts I just mentioned are awful. Like I didn't even want to say those names, but that was the question. So,
right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. Let's see here. Ooh, all right, let's. Where are we at? F Primo says, Cheese, 25 GPP lineups. Is it stupid to fade Ray and hope one of these other guys matches or outscores him?
It's definitely not stupid to fade him in general and think someone matches and outscores him. But in 25 lineups, I can't imagine how I wouldn't have a couple of Rays. But I see the point. Officially, no, I don't recommend fading him in 25 completely.
Okay. But if you just have a taste of him and everyone else has 80%, is it even worth having a taste, or you just say, screwing them out?
I guess it depends what you're doing with your bat. If you're just throwing just a bunch of random lineups, then yeah, you may as well fade them. But if you have 7 Houston stacks, I want one of them to have Ray in it.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Fix is DK GPP. Tim, this one's for you. It's a 3v3. Maldonado, Altuve, Abrams, or Tice, Moore, and Pena.
The first one.
How do you say that guy's name, Cheese?
Well, I don't know. I call him Face, but I actually don't have a clue I've never heard it said.
I kept thinking you were saying Face, and I was so confused.
This is the guy playing catcher for the Angels.
Okay. I thought you were saying Face.
You know a player is good when Cheese doesn't know how to pronounce their name.
Right, yeah. Yeah. All right. He's really coming up from somewhere special. Okay, let's see. Hey, rank these pieces of poop at second. That's a great question. All right. It is Bride, Quiros, Jordan Diaz.
See, that's the one we were talking about at catcher where, you hope you get a single or even a walk from those guys, which would make it Bride. At least he's got plate discipline. It seems like he could take 2 walks from Sandoval and you're okay.
Wow. Okay. That's terrible. Rocky Raccoon says, all right, hey, Cheese. He actually called you Cheese Wheel, which I kind of like. You like Rutschdog, Santander, Bank Arcia, or there's so many. I'm just gonna read this as it says. Okay, Cheese. It's a 3v3. Rutschdog, Santander, Bank Arcia, or Donovan Dong, Fig Newt Bar, and Big Willie Contreras.
I don't honestly know what the question is. That's too many words. I'm not looking.
Rutschman, Santander, and Arcia, or Donovan, Newt Bar, and Contreras.
Okay. The Rutschman side.
Steve-O says, hey, Rob, is the wind in Wrigley tonight true left to right field, or is it blowing in more? Weather Edge giving it a huge downgrade tonight. At last check, it was both. It was in from left and across. So
is there any chance that it sneaks out? If it goes that much, all of a sudden it's like Schwarber and Harper party.
What do you want it to just suddenly?
So it's going straight across. If it were to move slightly,
but it's not going straight across. It's in and across.
So is there any chance of it getting out?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a chance that it just becomes across.
Okay. Because that's what I'm looking at. The lineups page just shows it across, where it's that much of a move and it's Schwarber party.
Right. Then it's out to right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's either a little in from left and across or fully across.
Perfect.
Yeah. Hey, guess what, guys? We did the thing. We hit the lock. Good job. So a wonderful show. Well done. Going to jump over on the YouTube chats real quick. Hey, guess what? We did good things. We caught up on all the questions, and I think we did everything that we came here to do. Anything that you want to add, Tim? I just, for the first time ever, got a block of Parmigiano Reggiano.
There you go. That's delicious.
It's so good. My whole life I've been using Kraft Parmesan cheese, or is it Kraft? The little green.
You'll never go back to that.
Your life
has changed.
Yes,
your life has changed now.
Holy smokes, man! So I've just got this block of legitimate Parmesan cheese, and I've got a little hand grater, a little, and just everything I make now, Parmesan Reggiano.
I feel like you've reached adulthood now.
Yeah, it really feels like a new level. Like my culinary skills are upgraded, and yeah, it's pretty badass.
I feel like we've all learned something very interesting and useful about Tim. That's we now have. I'm not actually a cheese guy, which you might not understand, but we now have a cheese guy. I'm not the cheese guy; he's the cheese guy.
See, this was like 10 years ago, so now I'm gonna have to re-up all my cheese knowledge.
Yeah, you're gonna start getting a lot of questions like, "Hey, what should I put on this tonight?"
Yeah. Speaking of,
I really wish it wasn't my my DFS handle.
Yeah,
but it's too late now.
All right, you're committed. Do you have a favorite cheese that I should know about, or a cheese that you're like, oh, Roth, you don't know about this. You got to give this cheese a shot.
If you can find an aged cheddar, years aged cheddar, I think you should give it a shot.
I love a sharp, stinky cheddar.
Then yes.
Yeah, I haven't had a really good aged one, but when I go to the deli, I always get give me the sharpest, stankiest cheddar you got, and I freaking love it.
You're in the Houston area, right?
I am, yes.
Yes, there's got to be some specialty food stores around your area that have the great cheeses.
Okay,
there has to be.
I'm gonna find one, and
supermarkets can be tough. You gotta do your research, Kevin. You gotta look for it.
If only there was a store here that had wine and cheese, I'd go there every day. Right. Yeah, right. I would. That's what I do. All right, I think we're gonna get on out of here. By the way, someone says Pecorino Romano is amazing. I don't know what that is. Have you heard of that?
It sounds familiar.
Yeah, I don't know.
I've eaten a lot of different cheeses, but it's been a long time.
Right, you're out of
the cheese. Yeah, I'm out of the game. So.
All right. Well, we're gonna get you back into the game here. We appreciate your help. What is it? There's so many cheese questions. It's ridiculous, but we'll get out of here. I'll save you. For Cheese, for Tim, for our wonderful production crew, always working hard behind the scenes, guys. We appreciate you. We love you, and we will catch you tomorrow. You have been crushed.